Keep them coming. We're back, baby. The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Hot, humid, and windy conditions on tap for Monday. Expect partly sunny skies throughout the day with south winds gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. Expect highs around 90 with feels-like temperatures in the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Good morning. Hope your Monday is off to a great start. If you will be heading out onto the road soon on this College World Series Monday, good news. The road's looking pretty good right now. No accidents, slow-moving traffic, or any obstructions to report currently. And as the road patterns change throughout the morning, I will get those updates to you. Just stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
Time-saving traffic is brought to you by Pyramid Roofing. If you've seen the white trucks with Rufus the Spotted Dog, then you know about Pyramid Roofing. Replace your siding, windows, roof, or gutters. Call Pyramid Roofing at 402-502-9300 or visit PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
I'm Brad Heller with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Steelers linebacker T.J. Watt is entering his 8th season, and when recently asked about retirement, the soon-to-be 30-year-old said, quote, "It is too hard to say. I won't know until that moment comes. I feel great right now, so I'm kind of just living in the moment. One thing T.J. is sure of, he's going to do everything possible to win, telling The Athletic, quote, for me, it is all about no playoff wins. The Steelers are 0-4 in the postseason since Watt entered the league. Meanwhile, Panthers receiver Deontay Johnson is motivated to prove his worth entering the final year of his contract. Johnson is set to earn $10 million in 2024 and tells the Charlotte Observer, quote, I'm just going to keep elevating, and I carry that chip wherever I go because I still get overlooked and don't get the respect I deserve sometimes. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
I'm Ryan Osted. Golf is great because it can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to go out and have a competitive 18 holes, you can make it that. If you want to go out and have a scramble and just have the time of your life, if you want to have a charity golf tournament to raise money for some great cause, you can make it that. It is flexible to be whatever you need it to be at that particular moment in your life. And I've needed golf to be different things at different points in my life. And I'm certainly thankful that I was able to learn the game as a kid and continue to play it now as an adult.
Play better, have fun, and shop
Osteds.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Host is roasting every morning. Host Coffee Services stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call us today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
1620 The Zone.
All I was focused on was myself. Every once in a while I could hear Rory and the Rory chants and what he was doing, so I knew what he did based on the roars. And that was actually kind of fun because it gave me the knowledge, like what I had to do. I just, every time I got over the ball, I said, just focus. You've done this before. You can do it again. In the back of my mind, my dad pushing me, pain was on the back of my mind as well. And I wanted to do it for them.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
Omaha's done an incredible thing here. It is everything it is to be, and I'm honored to be here.
Good Monday morning to you from the great city of Omaha for our out-of-towners. Hopefully it has been everything you hope for this point of the College World Series. We got more games going on. It's Nick Handley in studio, Jimmy Chavez, and then we've got Buckethead himself. Gary Sharp is in his home office joining us. Good morning, everybody. Good Monday morning. And Gary, are you aware that it is Monday? Have you lost track of days yet? I don't know if Gary can hear us. Sharpie, are you there? Uh-oh. We've got no Gary.
Actually, I hear him. I hear birds.
Yeah, I can hear birds in the background.
So we do have sound today.
So yeah, this is like the reverse
this is
effect.
A new one.
We can hear Gary's sound effects. I don't think he can hear us right now.
It actually sounds very peaceful. There.
Let's shoot him a text and say, can you not hear us right now? Because we can see him. So yes, as you heard in the open, we've got a lot to get to there when it comes to a little bit of CWS, big U.S. Open. Victory for one Bryson DeChambeau, who, if you know me, people know that I'm conflicted on that one. We've got even some UFL championship news that's our own 1620 The Zone, Adrian Martinez getting the highest accolade in that big game. We've got recruiting news. We've got Creighton baseball news. We've got College World Series updates as far as what you can expect today. All of that coming your way here on a Monday edition of Mornings with Sharp and Handley here on 1620 The Zone. Then, of course, we'll go out to the Omaha Baseball Village. Yours truly, Josh Peterson, will be hitting the airwaves. Well, Josh will be out at 10. I'll be there at some point shortly after that. And then you get there you are. Hey!
Oh.
Yeah, we couldn't hear. We didn't think you could hear us.
I can hear you and I can see you.
Oh, buddy. How you doing? Do you realize it's Monday? Have you lost track of days yet?
It was a long day yesterday because you remember we had 3 baseball games that were played yesterday.
Sure did. Sure did. Very early Saturday or Sunday morning. That's right. Hey, by the way, and you've seen a lot of crowds. You've seen a lot of different weather interruptions and wonky start times. Were you shocked on how packed a 10-16 Saturday night first pitch was? And really the amount of people that stuck around till the wee hours of early Sunday morning?
Not really. I thought there was probably at first pitch about 17,000 people that were there.
Mm-hmm.
What else were they going to do? The storm that rolled through Omaha Saturday night, I mean, they made the right decision because they could have started and then they would have delayed, and then both head coaches would have been really upset because they would have wasted essentially their starting pitchers. But it wasn't like it was so bad that people left downtown. Like, people hung around. I mean, the amount of people that were waiting outside of the ballpark and in pictures and people that were out there that were telling us, they weren't going anywhere. So it wasn't a surprise. And, it was a lubed up crowd for Saturday night when you start at 10:15 and you have 17,000 people there. But Texas A&M fans have shown up. There's a lot of Texas A&M fans. That's why tonight should be a great atmosphere in that ballpark because they're Big Blue Nation, the Commonwealth. Took off some days of work and came to Omaha. So that should be a lot of fun. That was an odd night that ended exactly at 1:13. Now, the advantage was by the time we all left the ballpark, there was nobody in the parking lot. So it was like zip, zip. That's the fastest I've ever gotten home from a College World Series game.
Yeah, I was hoping at least. Now I'm curious how many bars were probably still open till 2. I mean, technically that is the closing time in Omaha, but as we know, and we've talked about this before, there's not a lot of people who stay open till the actual technical closing time. But I would think, if you wanted a little bit of a spillover crowd, if you were waiting around a little bit to figure out what you're going to do, or if you weren't going to get in a car at all and you were just going to go to your hotel, that there might have been a place or two that could have been open for another 45 minutes. But I think that's pretty rare these days. Also, and we'll stay on the College World Series here for a moment. We've got a lot to get to. Again, as I mentioned, U.S. Open, that was a wild finish yesterday, and quite frankly, a guy that invokes different feelings when it comes to golf.
You're with friends here.
Yeah, I'll get into that. No worries about that. This College World Series yesterday probably came back down to reality a little bit, where you had the outcomes that were a little bit more decided before the 9th inning, if you will. But as far as 3 straight walk-offs, and then the Saturday night one, Gary, that you were talking about, where you get a game-saving catch that prevents what could have potentially been a walk-off there too. You get all of this type of back and forth, the comeback from Tennessee on Friday night, the drama that we've seen. I hate to say we told you so, but Gary, this is what we expected with as tight as this field was, and calling this a baseball players College World, a baseball fans College World Series. I mean, it really has played out that way. And this is now where we get into some of the, maybe not always the best games when you get into the elimination games and you've had teams that have been here for a little bit longer, but man, I don't know if you could have asked for a better start. And remember, last year was pretty damn good. This is, if not better, this is right there.
Well, I think people that follow college baseball, and we've talked about it aplenty, college baseball seems to deliver the drama and a lot of walk-offs. Like, go back to the regionals, go back to the super regionals, and then go back to the first 2 days of the College World Series. It's a sport that has delivered on the biggest stage when more eyeballs are watching. But you couldn't ask for a better start when you get new fans in, because not everybody is into college baseball. Just because it's different from its major league counterpart. And even though these guys that are playing here, before long, they're going to be playing in front of you. If you just watch Major League Baseball, you'll watch college baseball because, man, you tune it on and the ballpark is packed and Omaha looks great. And you're like, I'll watch. and then the participants and the results match the outcome. It's exciting. I mean, the first 2 days were absolute bangers. You had 3 straight walk-offs, which they've never had before. And then you have in the 9th inning of the game that ended at 1:13 yesterday morning, you have a robbery at the wall of a long fly ball that could have, given Florida the victory. So the sport is delivered. Unfortunately, yesterday, I think I kind of expected the first game to go that way. Just something about Virginia playing here in Omaha, and Florida State's a pretty good team. The second one, tip your cap to Tennessee. That was a dominating performance, but college baseball's delivered, man. It's just Omaha puts on a show, and the people that are in the show perform really, really well. It's pretty cool. And now, I hope that we get back to, we have a little bit more drama, because yesterday's games kind of drag a little bit. Even with some good individual performances, but man, that was fun. That was fun for the first 2 days. And hopefully we'll get more as now we get in the first full week of the series.
You got to see a cycle as well. Got to be a part of the call of the cycle.
The cycle, Christian Moore on Friday night, who hit for the cycle, he did it the hard way.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe the hard way is not the right response. He got the hardest one out of the way early. He got a triple in his first at bat.
Yep.
I think a home run's easier than hitting a triple. And then he finished with a home run that barely got off the ground and essentially was a line drive that went 440 feet to the batter's eye in straightaway center field. I mean, he is cock diesel, man. He is put together. I saw him up close on Friday, and he looks like, I know I'm going to use a football term here. I mean, he just looks like a defensive back who has got great hands and great quickness with his wrists. And he got 33 home runs now. He crushed that ball. That's that was one of the better performances. But the wild thing about his night, as he joins history as only the second player ever in the College World Series to have a cycle, he only had 1 RBI. It's not like he had 5, 6 RBIs and had this monster night. Yeah, he drove in 1 RBI. That was his solo home run
himself. Yes.
Yeah.
It's been days removed. Tennessee moves into the driver's seat as well. And we already have somebody in the stream, PWP fan, is saying Tennessee should be 1-1. Umpire made drama, obviously referring to the check swing with Blake Burke.
I'm sure we're going to get to that because Link Jarrett brought it up yesterday, how he thinks the check swing should be reviewable. I get it. Florida State got screwed by another SEC school again. Okay. You're coming to the Big Ten. We'll take care of you. But I imagine if Florida State was wherever they were last night after their game, they're with their service club or they're hanging out, having a team meal, and they are watching North Carolina and Tennessee play, and Blake Burke late in the game is at the plate again, and there was a check swing that he did not go around that he got rung up on.
Yep.
And all I could think of is, somewhere Link Jarrett is stewing.
Yep. Oh, really? You're going to call that? Yep. Obviously, the one on Friday was more close. We'll say that. But again, we've got a lot to chew on from.
So one more thing about that, and we can discuss that. And if it was a check swing or whatever, I just know that how many games end on an appeal to either first or third on a check swing?
Never.
The person that is at first or third is, unless it is just egregious.
Right.
If it's borderline, and maybe the Burke one was more than borderline, it is so rare. I've watched so much baseball. I can't tell you, maybe once or twice I've seen a game end where on an appeal, the guy rings him up. I think Jarrett and Link will probably talk more about how he thinks it should be reviewable, which I don't think so. I think he was more upset at the home plate umpire, who it looked pretty close from the home plate umpire's vantage point that he didn't ring him up. That he didn't do it on his own and call him out. He didn't ask for the appeal. The catcher asked for the appeal. So Link Jarrett, I think, was really, really hot at the home plate umpire, who's like, why do we need to have an appeal? That was a strike. Why don't you call that?
Yeah.
So I know people are looking at, he's upset at the check swing. Well, yeah, I mean, that's what he eventually wanted. But I think he was upset at the home plate umpire, who he wanted to you don't need the appeal. You saw it. He went around, call him out.
Yeah, and we'll get into this because I'm already seeing again people saying it was you have You have what's the person's name from Florida Georgia Line that used to play college baseball that was weighing in on that, and I'm seeing somebody in the stream right now too, also saying the bat completely across home plate. I don't think that was.
He went around. Okay, it was a strike. It wasn't called. It was a strike.
The replay I thought made it look a lot closer than what I initially thought, because I thought and the initial when it happened in real time, I thought, oh God, they're going to end on this.
Yeah,
they didn't call it.
He swung. He swung. They didn't call it, and he got another opportunity. And Tennessee wins on Friday night. That's what as I watched it in real time. I didn't need all the still shots out there. I did not need all the National College Baseball writers who absolutely crushed the call. You saw every kind of screenshot. No conspiracy theory. I just watched it with baseball eyes. He did go around, and Tennessee got a new life, and they made Florida State pay. But good for Florida State. I mean, it was clearly on their mind yesterday when they started, but they got off to a good start, and now they got to come back through the losers bracket. But that's baseball. Baseball is full of judgment calls, and also baseball is full of failure and how you deal with it. And both of those things happen over the course of the weekend if you're Florida State. But I get it. I will tell you this, and I know some people affiliated with Florida State that we've known for a long time, and some fans. There's a reason why they're trying to get the hell out of the ACC. I mean, they're very, very bitter about what happened last year with college football playoff. Like, maybe bitter is not the right word. They're downright angry. So anything that is a slight against Florida State, and especially when it comes from an SEC school, it wasn't Tennessee's fault. I mean, they're going to be livid. But, Link Jarrett's probably going to spend another day where he will say that should be a reviewable call.
No, that's a good point as far as just the scorned FSU fan base too, of feeling like there's a higher power working against them there too. Missed calls in baseball are, as you know, Gary, very well, are just a part of it.
It's a judgment sport run by humans. Now we have replay that is involved, and that helps immensely. But there are some things that, and until the computers take over and we have robo umps, there's going to be, there's going to be judgment calls. That's what baseball is. That's what sports is. There are certain elements that are straight judgment calls. And that was the case. Hey, I'm not here to defend the call. I thought he went around. I'm just saying it's more than one pitch. That's how Link handled it after the game, which is smart because he could have ignited everything. And he knows it's more than one pitch. I mean, they had plenty of times in that inning to stop Tennessee. But that's baseball. Baseball has judgment calls. Baseball has moments where, you go, whoa, did that really happen? And that all happened on Friday. Trust me. That was a wild day on Friday. It was a legendary day where you had 2 walk-offs, and then you have another walk-off on Saturday. So it's fun. Baseball is fun.
It is
fun. Baseball, like shopping in Sharpie County. Baseball, it's fun.
It's a good point though about games ending on check swings. If you've seen more than 1 or 2 of those in a lifetime, then you've been watching a lot of baseball. Because I'm with you, Gary. I very seldom are you going to see a game end on that type of call.
Yeah, unless the guy at first or third
if it's so obvious,
he has a dinner reservation. He's like, "What time is it? What dugout am I entering the field through? All right, it's not a strike. Play on."
Or if it's one of those games where it's like this thing needs to get over fast. Obviously, there was a lot of drama building in that one. You didn't want to be the cause, even if it was, as some people think, egregious. You didn't want to be the on that check swing, on that judgment call, to be the one that's going to end that game that was building so much there in the ninth. We will talk about that. We've got a great lineup today as we get back into it, starting at 1:00. We've got another elimination game. Virginia, we'll get into because you brought them up. I mean, talk about heartbreak. 3 consecutive games in the College World Series now where they've lost by 1 run. Yesterday, a little bit more decisive, but that's a tough one. Florida State, NC State today at 1. Then you got Kentucky and Texas A&M tonight. That's your winner's bracket game. Tennessee already in the driver's seat. They play on Wednesday with 1 game away from getting to the championship series. So we've already got 1 team in that position. We're going to be talking more about College World Series with Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. He is on the CWS beat. He will join us at 8:30. Jacob Bigalow joins us at 9 o'clock.
He just celebrated a birthday.
Did he?
He did.
Is he 17?
No, 16.
He's driving now.
Yeah,
all
he's
right.
driving now.
All right. Good stuff.
Congratulations to you.
Yes. All right.
And
Well, we'll
cake
talk to
and
the,
ice cream.
We'll talk to the birthday boy. But our lineup always powered by the rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard. If you want to get in on the conversation today, you can always do so by hitting us up on the Equitable Bank inbox, where they take banking personally. I am... Geez, I got to think. This is weird now. I'm doing this. It is Handley at 1620thezone.com and Gary at 1620thezone.com, and also the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed, where you can tweet the show or X the show, however you want to do it. I am at Nick Handley 1620. He is at Gary Sharp 1620. So, U.S. Open. What a day. And I'm sure, Gary, as it's probably become tradition, you probably had a monitor or something going on while you guys are watching college baseball, and we had drama again. First of all, this is what makes a major fantastic, when you have not only two guys that are vying for it, but you have two very well-known golfers. We're not talking, as much as I was all on board for the Ludwig Oberg story that was developing in the weekend. If he and, say, a Wyndham Clark are battling for the win, not many people are going to care. But you got Rory. Everybody knows Rory. And unfortunately, everybody knows Rory here as of late in majors, what has and has not happened for him. And then you got Bryson DeChambeau, that at one point was playing the role maybe next to Patrick Reed as the heel of the PGA Tour before he went to Live Golf. And then now all of a sudden, we saw this in the PGA Championship, not only his game, but his image is a lot more enjoyable. He pulls off an amazing shot out of a bunker. He puts himself in position to make a high percentage putt to win it. And so now the question is not necessarily what Bryson DeChambeau did to win it, but also what Rory McIlroy failed to do on 16 and 18 with extremely high percentage makeable putts that he does not make. So the big debate is it the U.S. Open that Bryson DeChambeau won, or is it the U.S. Open that Rory McIlroy lost? Either way, DeChambeau is holding the trophy. He's running around the entire premise, having everybody touch it. I mean, he's embracing the fans. He's embracing everything about it. I've got thoughts on that, but as far as the golf itself, this is what I guess it's a USGA event, but this is what the PGA, this is what a golf major needs when you have two very recognizable, well-known golfers that are battling, one with heartbreak and the other with triumph. That's what you want to see out of a major.
Yeah, there was points as we were watching yesterday. You were rooting for the course, and then you were rooting on Father's Day in the U.S. for a guy from Northern Ireland, because you didn't want to root for the guy that was also gunning for the U.S. Open, because you're not supposed to like him, because he has made you not like him. It was quite the it was fantastic for the U.S. Open, the way it came down. The course was really, really good. And the golf from Bryson DeChambeau was really, really good. I don't know. I think it's a combination of both. I know that's always like that okay, did someone win it single-handedly, or did someone choke? Well, I think it's a little bit of all of those. I think it's some poor shots that didn't go your way. And then I think it's one of the biggest shots, maybe the biggest shot ever that DeChambeau will have, that we will remember his shot on 18 for a long, long time. I think there's another element of what happened yesterday, watching the U.S. Open. And, it's pretty cool. It's on Father's Day. It's a little bit later in the day. So it seems like everybody is watching. Mm-hmm. And we got our moment yesterday where it came down to the last hole. And golf is drama. Look at DeChambeau is still playing, and Rory is back in the scoring tent watching it. So you've got a split camera, and we can only we can't even imagine what kind of emotions it are going on with both of them. But after it's over and you see DeChambeau win and Rory speed away, isn't it interesting? We're like, man, I like Rory. Rory is super popular. DeChambeau hasn't been very popular, even though he's been a really good golfer. He's kind of been hanging around, but mentally, don't we, Nick, go, well, we're not supposed to like that guy, because he makes it he makes it so we don't like him. I think what I saw yesterday, I didn't like what Rory did, essentially speeding out of, the U.S. Open at Pinehurst. and probably before Bryson even signed his scorecard.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a bad look. It's another bad case of misfortune for Rory. But I think in this case, it's a hard day to be a McIlroy fan. He's a couple of scramble gimmies away from winning. But the story is Bryson DeChambeau, a guy who has been a very good golfer, finally, I think, has grown into his own skin. I don't want to overcomplicate it. He's a guy that, was very immature, trying to figure out his body, trying to figure out his game. He became a douche canoer. Guys on tour didn't like him because he's very brash. He was trying to get to places sooner than his game would allow. And I think at some point, I don't know if he hired a PR firm, if he got a new agent, whatever happened, he's grown into his own skin. And you see that he is authentic finally to himself. He's not this concocted laboratory built up golfer that's supposed to be Mr. Hulk. He finally said, well, this is what I'm better at doing. Can I just be this? And whoever was that helped him along the way, and it might even be more just himself, he got out the way. He matured. We went, wow, okay. He seems like a good dude. And then, oh, by the way, he's turned himself into one of the better golfers in the U.S. right now. We just don't see him on the LIV Tour. But I was glad to see him yesterday. I mean, the man is contending in majors. And I think it's one of those stories. He's going to be on a list of athletes that have pulled a 180 on their image, that are also really good at their sport.
The golf part of it, I couldn't agree more. And we saw this with the PGA Championship. You're right. And we've been hearing even from his longtime rival, now his LIV mate, and Brooks Koepka, one of probably during that whole fiasco was his harshest critic. Now is somebody that, and this was going into the PGA Championship, saying that people need to look out for Bryson's game right now because he's watched that really come together. And comfortable in his skin is probably a good way of saying it when it comes to now finding a physique and something that's more natural to him, something that he's not pushing it, something that he's not having to go through crazy methods to try to accomplish it. Because, there was that feeling of, well, he's hulking up because he's just basically going to try to bomb courses. And he's, and I know a lot of the golf purists were not for that. I could care less about that part of it. There was always, you're right. There was a lot of douchebaggery that came with Bryson DeChambeau for a guy that was extremely self-absorbed. And that started with that rivalry with Koepka, where he's on his Twitch station talking about, Brooks Koepka doesn't have a six-pack and he's in the body issue. I got a six-pack. There was a lot of self-absorption. There was a lot of, I think immaturity is probably the best way to label that. This is where, and I'll be honest, because I was getting a lot of texts yesterday because people know of my dislike for Bryson DeChambeau. I appreciate everything he has done with his golf game. Mm-hmm. And I can also look at a guy that did and said so many good and right things, not even just this weekend, but again, go back to the PGA Championship too. And that the moment that he had with Xander Schauffele after Xander wins, he's doing the right things. That's where I think you're probably right about having a PR firm, having some people around you that are giving you a little bit better information or advice when it comes to handling things on and off the course. Because I still have a lot of those images of during the COVID year where he's balling out a camera guy for essentially doing his job because he caught Bryson missing an important shot. Then there were these volunteers at another event that are off the green, away from the action, having a conversation. After Bryson gets done going from that green to the next tee box, he's lecturing them on how when you talk, noise carries. There was a lot of things about him and his presence that is very unlikable for me. Yeah. I don't know if that's who he is, if that's immaturity. I don't know if this is who he is. I don't know if this is just really good advice, if this is authentic.
I think this is. So I just think some guys are just mature.
Sure, and that could be it. That very well could be it, Gary.
He has grown up, and he's probably realized that what I have done. That's not. I don't want to be that person. And you use life experiences, and you learn from them. And I think he's learn from him. So then we are allowed to watch how good a golfer he is without the bias of, I hate the guy, I can't stand the guy. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care if he's a good golfer or not. He's supposed to be the villain. And I think he really leaned into that, and it probably bugged him because he's like, man, I don't want to be the villain. Okay. I want to interact with fans. I mean, you watch him on the course, and then you hear people that have gone to events, like he interacts with fans while he's golfing. You know, a lot of the golfers, and maybe rightfully so, Nick, when they're playing, and especially at a major, you're laser focused. All right. Your head down as you walk past galleries and people say something, you know, in support, you just kind of ignore them. I mean, we're seeing a guy in Bryson DeChambeau that people are like, go get him, Bryson. And as he walks through galleries, he's making eye contact with people and nodding and smiling, or the other day, signing an autograph. He's fist bumping people.
Right.
I just think he's matured. You know, he's looking at the moment and going, man, this is pretty cool. And I'm part of it. And it's wild how I don't think it's just this weekend, but now we're more cognizant of it because of him winning another major. I think this has been a turn of events in his life. And it's so wild because he's supposed to be the villain. Rory is the hero. We watched yesterday, and hey, Rory pissed away the U.S. Open by missing some fairways and 2 short putts. Yeah. But as much as I dislike Greg Norman gagged the 96 Masters. But Greg Norman walked into the media interview room and he took questions. McIlroy gave away the U.S. Open yesterday, squealed his tires in a parking lot, escaping reporters. It's such the dynamic of going back to the question you started this with, Nick. Who will you remember the U.S. Open more for, Bryson or Rory?
And you're right, it's both. I absolutely think it's both, because you're not going to tell one story without the other. You're not going to tell how Bryson was able to have that door open at the end, but he had to make that great shot as well. I mean, Rory's putt on 18, which, by the way, if you're watching that in real time, he wanted nothing to do with it. He wanted nothing. He was looking at that thing for a very long time. And that one was a little bit more tricky than on 16. 16, I don't know what happened. He just got adrenaline or something and just fired that through. But we've all been there where it looks distance-wise as a makeable, and you're like, okay, but there's enough angle where you're like, oh, God. And he just, you knew he wanted nothing to do with it. But again, even by missing that, Bryson had to come up with 2 amazing shots to be able to get himself into that position to knock that putt in for the win. So he did what he needed to do. He won that with his ability, his God-given ability. With the image part of this, again, this is where I will make a comparison to Tiger, because you brought up how he seems to be embracing a lot of the gallery and part of that. Again, call me skeptical right now, because just as much as what I grew to not like Bryson, that was behavior over time. What we've seen, and maybe it's not fair because I haven't been watching him as much because I don't get a chance to see him now he's on Live. What we've seen is a more small sample size. If this is consistent over the next year or two, I'll be right there where I was with Tiger Woods, where I'm thinking, man, I wish the guy would enjoy the game a little bit more. He's bullish with the fans. Sometimes he's icy with them. And these are the fans that adore him. But once he went through his whole ordeal and got a little bit outside of the whole just robotic Tiger must dominate at all costs, and actually started to enjoy a little bit of the other things of golf, he became that likable character. You'd seen him smile a lot more. Seeing, like you said, what Bryson was doing, engaging more with the gallery. You see Tiger even giving some high fives to some people going from 6 to 7, in the middle of a round. There's just a lot more engagement with the crowds that he brings there, because they're there to see him. If that is what Bryson is, I applaud him. And you could be right. I mean, it could be as simple as maturity. And don't forget this too. He came into a hell of a lot of money with what he was able to sign with Live. And as you know, Gary, sometimes that'll make you grow up, or it'll make you become even more immature. You don't necessarily just kind of stay the same. You either go one way or another. And maybe that has something to do with it as well. His financial status right now could also have something to do with him really saying, all right, I got a lot of money It's time to button this thing up, and I need to be the kind of guy that I want to be. You could be right on that.
I don't know about the money part. I think I wonder the people that were around him early in his career. Did they want to create this person that was not comfortable in his own skin? Like I said earlier, I think he matured, and I think it's a fact that we all do this, whether we've got a flat stick in our hand or not. We all kind of grow into our own skin.
Yeah.
And he may have had people around him that wanted to create an image of him that was completely different than he wanted to be, whether it be physically, mentally, just the whole operation. And he's new in the game, and he's got people around him that he trusts. And so he follows that. And then you might wake up and go, that's just not me. I can't continue to do that. I just want to play golf. Okay. I just want to be me, and I want to play golf. And let's be honest, after yesterday, there are two guys that have won multiple U.S. Opens since Tiger. One, and ironically, they've butted heads in the past, Koepka and DeChambeau. So I think he's just matured. He's grown into his own skin. He's more comfortable with his body. His game is fantastic.
It is.
And I'm not here to change people's opinion. There will be people that do not like him and never will like him because of how he came onto the stage. And that's fine. But you have to respect his game. But I think his turn is legit because I'm going to use two things. One, his interaction with fans when everybody seems to be a robot on the PGA or Live Tour. And also, you hear other golfers who, he was shunned. Young guy, brash coming up. You haven't done anything, but you're sucking the oxygen out of our sport. Mm-hmm. You don't really hear anybody else bash him anymore. And you see more. I always judge, Nick, when somebody wins, whether the Royal Canadian Open or the U.S. Open, and they walk off the 18th. And, those Sundays can be long days. And especially if you're some of the early groups, you get on, you get out, you get home. Okay. And sometimes with your private travel, you're home before that event even ends.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the people that stuck around to say congratulations to him.
That's a good that's a good point. It's a good point. It's the authenticity of it all is what I'm really captivated because I think his game is dialed in. I think he's proven that this entire year. He proved that at the PGA Championship coming up short. He proved that this weekend at a very tough course and what he was able to pull off when the door did open for him as well after losing a lead to a guy like Rory. And he talked about it. Again, he said he's doing the right things. If that's what it's all about, if that's just a fact of maturity, then I will applaud not only the game like I am, because I'm applauding the game, but I'll applaud the person too, because you're right. We've all gone through that. And I'll end this conversation on this part of it when it came to Rory's behavior afterwards. If that's okay, let's use Xander Schauffele, or if it's Scotty. If they win, is Rory sticking around? I know there's the frustration, but I also think there's a little bit of the stance that Rory took. Now he's softened that stance again for being Mr. PGA. It's us against them. And remember, when a lot of the things with Liv started, there was the class action, and DeChambeau was on that class action against the PGA. And those people that were on that class action between DeChambeau, Patrick Regan, and a couple other guys, Rory was outspoken against those individuals, especially. I wonder if it hurt that much more because it was DeChambeau and Rory wanted nothing to do with it, as opposed to one of his fellow PGA mates. I was thinking about that when I saw him peel away of, I wonder if he does that if Scotty's winning another major.
Yeah, Rory's going through a lot of stuff. It makes what he was able to do this weekend maybe a little bit more impressive, that he hung around, because he got a lot of stuff in his personal life going on.
Yeah.
But he's also the voice, basically, of golf. And it's just a bad look because, you went out the back door and you did it in front of, like, you didn't secretly take off.
No,
I mean, there were people everywhere as you got out of there. And, there's sometimes that's an obligation. We're all upset. I mean, that's another major that got away from him. I just think it's a bad look for Rory to, we're going to remember along with the unfortunate, at the end, I thought his caddy was bad. I think there was some selection of clubs on the back nine that were not the right clubs. And he's probably angry, he's disappointed, he's all of that stuff. I don't know if how much losing to who he did mattered. It's for a guy that's been up front. It's just a bad look to squeal the tires, get the hell out of there, not to answer a question or two about exactly what happened. Again, there's part of me that'll give him, there's a lot of stuff going on in his life that doesn't have to do with golf. It's just a bad look. And I do feel bad for him because there was a major to be had. He made some mistakes, but sometimes in that role, you do have to answer. As much as you dislike, you do have to answer some questions about, hey, what happened here? What happened with the putts? Should you have used this club? I don't know. Rory will be interesting moving forward. Rory's played some damn good golf all year long.
Yeah.
And Rory is in the tier of, we judge you by how you do in the majors. But it's like he's got a lot of stuff going on. He's reconciling with his wife. The story comes out that the only reason they're reconciling is because he realizes that he would take a major financial hit if they got divorced. There's accusations of him having an affair with somebody who was involved in the media on the PGA Tour.
Hey, who's that?
Amanda Balloons. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's just that's a bad look yesterday. That's just and now he's going to be a meme forever because the camera's watching him by himself, watching Bryson finish up. So we'll see moving forward. His golf game, he didn't he look like a guy also, because he's kind of fighting the Live PGA, and then oh my gosh, he softened his stance. He almost looks like a guy that needs a vacation, that needs to get away somewhere and not play any golf, think about golf, just go lay on the beach, probably by himself. And then when he's ready to come back and play some golf, we'll see you in a month at the next major, where he'll be a fan favorite there as well. I mean, I don't think his actions yesterday are going to change everybody. People's like, oh, Rory's a D-bag. Hey, Bryson, hand over the belt to him. It's just, you're going to have to, you're just going to have to navigate the waters of where you've had a lot of positive PR, and for a day plus, you're going to get some negative PR by your actions.
Yeah, there's no question about it. We've got Creighton baseball news we got to get to. We've got College World Series. We've got Nebraska football recruiting news, and the Huskers showing up on another list as we get into this. There's so many great lists, too, of a top 40 list when it comes to teams, according to Athlon. We'll take a look at that as well. Again, you can get in on the show as well by waiting on the 42-degree hotline, the source by your mom's house. That's 402-951-1620. Glad you're with us. Gary is in the home studio. Jimmy and Nick right here on 50th and Capitol on what has become very, very dark out all of a sudden, too.
Is it going to I got the TV on here in the studio.
You might get clipped by something. Oh yeah, that's
was
actually filled in.
Was it supposed to rain this morning?
I didn't know.
It was supposed to stay north of here, but it seems to be expanding.
It's
like coming for us.
It is like really, really dark in my neighborhood.
Yeah, it's dark out all of a sudden. Yeah, this is like what we experience in November at this time. But
good thing the game isn't at 7 a.m.
Cancel the series.
Take the day off.
We're coming back
round of golf
as we get into hour one here. It is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
Easy Cater. 100,000 restaurants, one platform. Need food for a meeting or a company event? EasyCater has everything you need to make food for work, work. With easy online ordering and reordering. Save your favorite orders, make edits as needed, and click. We even help you with expenses by keeping your receipts all in one place, which means all you need to do is sit back and enjoy the food. From ordering to reporting, EasyCater has everything to make food for work, work. Order 24/7 at easycater.com.
Posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Bianna's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Think about it. How prepared are you for the unexpected? Emergencies strike without warning, and we all know something big will be thrown at us soon. Being prepared makes all the difference. This means having a reliable food supply stored to use during tougher times. That's why at My Patriot Supply, we sell thousands of our 4-week emergency food kits every week. Each kit is packed with delicious, easy-to-prepare meals that provide over 2,000 calories per day. These kits are designed to stand by for up to 25 years, ready to use when you need them most. This week, save $50 on every 4-week emergency food kit you need. Simply go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure one for each family member. That's $50 off every 4-week emergency food kit. Order by 3 p.m. and your kit's shipped that same day. It's better to have emergency food than to need it and not have it. Shop mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of DIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Host is roasting every morning. How does Host Coffee Services provide the best coffee for your workplace? By finding the richest and most robust coffee beans from all around the world and bringing them to our Nebraska roastery, where your coffee is roasted fresh and delivered straight to you.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Real quickly before we get into hour number 2 here on a Monday, Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy. Gary is in his home studio getting ready for another long day of College World Series action. He and Johnny up in the booth, Connor on the field. We've got elimination game at 1. We've got a winner's bracket game at 6 we'll get into a little bit later on. We will be talking about some news that broke yesterday from Kendall Rogers of D1Baseball.com.
He's coming on the show again?
Well,
he's our friend.
He is, and maybe he can let us know a little bit more about the story. But with Creighton seemingly having their guy, not only their guy, but also their top assistant and pitching coach as well, we will discuss. I did mention I think this was the time of the show, Gary, where you were unable to hear us. MVP Adrian regular season, MVP Adrian in the UFL championship game as well. We didn't even know if he was going to start. And look.
Jimmy told me he was going to start.
Okay. 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground. He performs a defense for the Stallions.
Wade Phillips gets in the playoffs and chokes again, and they fall apart, and the season's over. Yeah.
And as you heard from Skip Holtz, giddy up! Yes, the Stallions win the title. But we've been tracking.
Did he really say that?
Oh, he did. In the it was kind of in the same. When You had Kurt Menefee and Tom Brady, who Tom Brady was the trophy presenter as well. Got to keep it in the Fox
Wait,
there.
Tom did color?
No, Tom was just.
He was just there. All I saw was the end. So yeah, I did a double take to see Tom Brady handing. We live in a bizarre world, ladies and gentlemen, where Tom Brady handed Adrian Martinez a MVP trophy.
Yeah, I mean, it's something.
What could have been? That's kind of what I was thinking. I might have said it on the air in 2018. Is would it be something if Tom Brady is handing off the baton of the best quarterback ever to Adrian Martinez? I think I said that.
Football league.
Yeah, I think I said that maybe 6 years ago, and it finally came to fruition last night in St. Louis, Missouri.
Maybe we thought that at some point Tom Brady would hand over the reins of the offense that he was leading to the drafted Adrian Martinez to continue the Tampa Bay Buccaneers success.
Wow, this is
Hey, kudos to the UFL because you made football enjoyable for Adrian Martinez. Because my man, for about 2.5 years at Nebraska, looked absolutely miserable playing this sport. And, he had a rough patch in the last month of the season, so it makes it even more rewarding what he did yesterday. But, man, he's just one of those guys, because we've gotten to know him more than just, wearing number 2, is he's smiling. You could tell he's having fun playing football. And Nebraska football, which either you've been playing or you've been a fan or you've worked there, has sucked the entire life out of you. And, I mean, you aged pretty quickly playing Nebraska football in the last 10, 15 years. And Adrian was that guy that looked absolutely miserable. Man, it's pretty cool to see how much it meant to him to finish the season like they did yesterday with the championship. So I'm happy for him. And as Nick, you brought up last week and we discussed, I hope somebody at least gives him a chance to say, hey, take a couple of weeks off, but don't forget to keep training. We'd like you to come to camp as part of the 90. And, and maybe, it's an uphill battle for him to stick on a roster as a quarterback, but maybe he sticks in an organization and they say, man, you got a good football mind. Would you be interested in being on that side of the football? And, maybe it works out, but he created that opportunity and good for him. I'm happy. And I'm sure, there'll be a one-man Birmingham Stallion parade at 72nd and Dodge, orchestrated by Jimmy Allen later today.
Yeah,
I thought they'd take after hours live to Birmingham.
I think that's going to happen in between. It's going to happen in between games, the elimination game and the 6 o'clock game tonight. So if you're looking for something to do between, just get down there. There will be a Birmingham Stallions parade.
I found this out. It's hard to believe. I don't know if I believe this or not. Somebody said you have to make reservations to do anything at 72nd and Dodge.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of different. There's a lot of. That's kind of 72nd and Dodge is like the melting pot of Omaha. You want to experience Omaha, you go there because it's the West Omaha people that are so afraid of that area that they speed through the intersection. It's us from South Omaha that are like, man, those are our people. There are the older people in Omaha is like, man, that's where I lost my virginity or I met my husband or wife at that mall right over there. But then it's also where you have a cause, you go there and you protest. Somebody told me that you have to make a reservation.
That's I just wonder who do you contact?
We should do 1620 to protest.
Like who the hell do you contact? They don't even have any stores open there, so I don't even know what to do.
Is there like Bob who has Cricket Wireless, and if he pays his bill, it's great. That's how you get a hold of him.
Yep.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have a Birmingham Stallion party there, but. If you have a cause or you just want to experience Omaha, all you people from out of town, 72nd and Dodge. Just go there. The library's not done yet, but just go there. Stand under our sign that is on its last leg, but it keeps hanging in there, kind of like Omaha. But we're not on our last leg in Omaha.
You're not talking about our marquee, are you?
No, the marquee at the old Crossroads marquee, which
you're talking about ours.
They don't even. So I ask questions. I had a lot of questions after I was told that you have to make a reservation to do anything at 72nd and Dodge. Good. And I'm like, yeah. Try telling those people back in 2020 if you had to make a reservation. But the marquee, the Crossroad marquee, which struggles, they don't even make parts for it anymore. But they don't want to tear it down. until that whole area is done. So
like the Astrodome.
Like 2052, we'll probably get a new marquee when they finish up whatever they're doing there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when that thing is finally going to go kaput, huh?
Here are the A&M
because it's still spinning out ads. I don't even know if they're current ads. It might be talking about the old Sears that used to exist there. Maybe about a Barnes and Noble at one point too. But I mean, I'm looking at ours right now. It's got 3 lines through all of ours. So I mean, it's still doing better than ours. So
hey, wouldn't that be great if that sign? There's like a glitch in the sign, and it is like promoting like events that went on there back in the 80s and the
Sprite
90s.
Night at Penny Park. Don't forget, coming up Thursday night, you got Sprite Night. People are like, they're bringing it back? Where the hell is it? Is it at the Hy-Vee where the Penny Park used to be?
One night only. Debbie Gibson and Expose live.
Our good friends at the Ranch Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, God. See, and then that would just invoke so much rage because people would, I mean, they really want that to come back.
With
so
opening
that would...
act, Stacey Q with the hit song 2 of Hearts now playing on.
Hey, and I really thought that the Fuddruckers would outlast that sign, but Fuddruckers is like a fat kid in dodgeball out.
Mm-hmm. That's very, very true. Remember, they kept downsizing it too. You knew its fate. It was it occupied that entire corner there on 72nd and Dodge. Then it was half the size, so they downsized. So you knew what direction it was going. At one point, it was maybe just going to be like a drive-through only. But yeah, rest in peace, Fuddruckers, man.
So
the Lancer Burger was really, really good.
Birmingham Stallion party on 72nd and Dodge. Not sure when it'll happen, but at Jimmy Allen 1620 would be the way to find that out.
They'll have Adrian on Zoom
as the sports schedule allows.
Yeah.
But so does Adrian come? So does Adrian come back on the airwaves?
I mean, he should. I think he's got obligation to at least join for the time that he's here before he's hopefully going out to a training camp.
John Wally Pitt?
Training camps you got to kind of zero in on in July, so he's got a couple of weeks before he'd really have to get serious with that. I mean, and it's a night show, Gary, so he can get his workouts in during the day.
That's true. That's true.
We're just
here's the other thing to watch off of that staff is I've told this story before. The general manager is, I think Zach's 24 years old. Yeah. So he is from the Omaha Council Bluffs area.
He's not that Zach Potter.
No. So that's what people think.
Zach's a little older than that. Zach's a little older than that too.
I've mentioned this before, and people are like, "No, man, Zach isn't coaching in Birmingham. I saw him the other day." And I'm like, wrong Zach Potter, not the football Nebraska Zach Potter.
Right.
This Zach Potter I'm pretty sure he's now 24.
I think so. Yeah.
Is the general manager of the Birmingham Stallions.
He's going places in football.
Well, hey, Rule had him in the recruiting office this past year because the kid showed up and him and Rule were talking ball, and all of a sudden it's like, Rule gave him an assignment like break down like just a handful of recruits, and just like in Moneyball, instead of like breaking down 5, here's 45 guys I've broken down. And he's been the GM for a couple of years for Birmingham. I wonder if this whiz kid, like, he gets an opportunity as well in the NFL.
He's the Peter Brenner. Okay.
I know a team.
Yeah, or running or being, more involved either at Nebraska or somewhere else, because he's got a great football mind. I mean, he does have to, I guess, as a part-time job, put together this roster that just won a championship in the UFL.
Yeah. No, I mean, the clock's ticking, man. 24, your window's open now. By the time you get to 30, you're old news.
What is he, broadcaster?
Come on. Yeah.
Wow, you peeled back the curtain.
Yeah. All right. Okay, just remember that one.
Remember, it's Monday.
We're going to get into hour 2. Jimmy's got an update. We'll also get into the latest of what we heard yesterday with the Creighton baseball job. Interesting development there. We got Husker recruiting news, too. A big get for the Huskers we'll get into. Going to be talking to Evan Bland at 8:30. Also, Jacob Bigalow as we continue. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy, 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time Saving Traffic Center. No accidents right now, but on eastbound Ames approaching 42nd Street, there is a stopped car. If you will be in this area soon, just something to look out for and be cautious about. No other obstructions or any slow-moving traffic currently. Things will pick up here in the next hour to 90 minutes, but as of right now, things looking good. Just stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Spring, it's the reward for surviving another winter. Fernando's, it's the reward for any day that ends in Y. Great Mexican food, awesome margaritas, and a wonderful family atmosphere. Fernando's, Omaha's favorite Mexican for more than 30 years.
Shop Sid Dillon Chevrolet, Nebraska's #1 volume Chevy dealer group. Visit us in Blair, Crete, Fremont, or Wahoo, or shop at SidDillonChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage, and it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
It's golf season, and that means it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sportsbook right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. The odds makers with the lowest holds and the best odds for every tournament. Plus, high betting limits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Get ready for all the biggest golf tournaments with Circa Sports Iowa. Visit circasports.com today. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Beyond's bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Every day, the Salvation Army helps those most in need in the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro. When natural disasters strike, when the cupboard is bare, when those recovering from addiction need support, and more, the Salvation Army is there to help. We invite you to connect with us online to learn about our services, volunteer, donate, or get assistance. You'll find links to our Facebook page and Twitter feed and much more information at salarmyomaha.org. The Salvation Army, doing the most good right here in the Metro.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
There we go. That's fun. Hello. 30 years ago tonight, there was a car chase. That's all. Car chase in LA, it happens.
Yeah.
30 years ago tonight.
They're very common.
Yeah, but 30 years ago tonight, the Knicks took a 3-2 lead on the Houston Rockets in the NBA Finals before peeing down their leg. Good morning, John Starks. Why wasn't Rolando Blackman playing in Game 7?
Wait, are you trying to make some type of link to what happened to Rory yesterday too?
No, I'm just saying Pat Riley should have put Rolando Blackman in Game 7 of the Finals. They would have won the championship and changed the entire narrative. But instead, John Starks went 2 of 74 in that game. College World Series continues today at the Chuck elimination game at 1 o'clock between the Alligators of Florida and NC State. Almost went into Bull Durham there. And then Texas A&M takes on Kentucky in the winner's bracket tonight. You can hear all the games in the zone with John and Gary and Connor and Nick, and maybe they'll give Nick Grimm if the thing goes 15 innings, Nick Grimm gets a microphone or a headset, or if there's another long rain delay.
Hey, anyway. So it was hot yesterday. I mean, it was even up in the radio booth.
Yeah.
There was one time I looked back, and it was also a Hawaiian shirt for Father's Day. So we're all wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Nice.
Next thing I know, Nick was really, really hot. I look back and it looks like Nick is ready to go to the beach. He's got his undershirt on. He's unbuttoned his Hawaiian shirt. He's ready, to go to the beach. Yeah, my man was boiling yesterday.
Ended up wearing a tank top and one of those floaties that's a duck. The Zone's Adrian Martinez is a champion along with his league MVP as the Birmingham Stallions shut out San Antonio 25-0. Many San Antonio Cowboy fans got memories of the Cowboys falling apart in 2009, losing 34-3 at the Metrodome to the Vikings. The common denominator, Wade Phillips. Yeah, they fell apart in that game. I like Wade, whatever, but still.
I like Wade too. He always had that look on his face. So when he was a head coach he had the
playoff look last night. I know that look.
I have zero idea of what is going on right now. Somebody at least let me know what the hell is going on. He wasn't that way as a DC, but as a head coach, he had that look a lot.
I saw that look against the Giants in 2007 and the 2008 season finale at Philadelphia. Football. Anyway,
Bum never had that look.
Nope.
Hey, can we one quick thing about what happened yesterday in that championship game? Hey, kudos to the people in St. Louis because they've supported the Battlehawks.
Oh, yeah.
And they got upset the week before. So St. Louis was going to host no matter what. The place would have had 40,000 plus if St. Louis was hosting Birmingham, but they don't make it. And those people showed up yesterday to watch, the UFL between two teams that have no connection to St. Louis. Man, I don't know that it'll ever happen that the NFL will go back into St. Louis. Those people got screwed.
They did.
But they have for XFL and UFL, man, they have shown up. That's a fun football base. And in a town that is a good football town, they carry the Chiefs games now. But that was pretty cool. Those people showed up and yeah, I mean, Wade Phillips, who you can't tell part of the story of football without the Phillips family. That was pretty cool to see him at that age get his team to a championship game.
Yep.
That's why I wanted him to win.
Oh,
Never mind. I like Wade.
We were conflicted.
It's
you got the Zone's Adrian Martinez, but you got Wade, who I feel like everybody appreciates Wade.
Well,
Phillips.
the San Antonio team had a couple of Huskers, so it's not like you were completely shut out.
But none of them are employees of 1620 The Zone.
Not yet. But if you'd like to have a future career in sales and make a difference.
Hey, isn't it wild, though? For 55 years of coaching for Wade Phillips, and he's done it what a coach does. He's a coach for life. When you grow up and you're who your dad is. He went high school, college, XFL, NFL. When they showed the little stat yesterday, I didn't realize he had never ever served as a head coach in a league title game in anything.
Wow. Yeah. Could have been a great story. Still is a great story, though. Adrian accounts for all 3 touchdowns in the game.
There's a little Dallas Cowboy tinge in this update.
Named UFL championship game MVP. Finished 13 of 28, passing for 98 yards and 1 touchdown.
And Adrian's going to be with Dallas, too.
On the ground, yeah. He ran for 52 yards, 11 carries, and 2 touchdowns. And they did have a good crowd in St. Louis. You would have thought Bob Tewksbury was doing a book signing after the game. Anyway, the NBA season is still going on.
You couldn't have said Marshall Falk or Kurt Warner. Bob Tewksbury.
I knew you'd like that.
Wow.
I still got it. Yeah, who was it? Josh Peterson said, how do you know all these random deals? Like, how do you not know? I watched baseball as a kid. They used to show the damn games. Multiple channels, plenty of baseball. The NBA season is still going on. People forget this. Even if the Celtics forget, it could get interesting. Nevertheless, they'll finish off the Dallas Mavericks tonight in Game 5 to put this season out of its misery before attention turns to the destroyed porta potty that will be this year's NBA draft next week, or a couple weeks, whatever. In the baseball, Ronel Blanco, positive here for me, had the second hitless outing of his brief major league career. He was pulled after 7 innings, however, as the Astros beat the Tigers 4-1. Manager Joe Espada shared part of the conversation he had with Blanco when he removed a dominant right-hander from the game. Just told him, I'm proud of what you're doing, but I'm still taking you out, even though you have a no-hitter through 7. He's 7-2 through the only no-hitter of the majors this season, April 1st against Toronto. It was just as good this time, 20th start and 37 appearances of his career. The 30-year-old threw 94 pitches with 65 strikes, tied a season best with 8 strikeouts and walked 3, and Nolan Ryan just grimacing. Like, really, 94 pitches? Dude, 3 times as much.
Yeah.
In football,
low.
Chiefs defensive lineman Isaiah Buggs arrested for the second time in a month. Congratulations, after he was booked on domestic violence and burglary charge in Alabama on Sunday morning. Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office records show that he was released on $5,000 bond. The Chiefs were aware of the case but declined to comment, other than the fact that, well, all right, we'll find someone else because we're pretty good. He turned himself in after charged with 2 misdemeanor counts of second-degree animal cruelty. Oh, dogs. Okay, that's not good. Yeah, he needs to go. Finally, Charles Barkley says next season will be his final one on TV. Well, so he says. Part of the highly popular and family program inside the NBA. He said Friday night that next season will be his last with TNT and that he won't be joining any other network beyond that either. But if he's interested in a promising career in sales, there is a job for him here at 1620 The Zone.
What if Big East basketball is playing on TNT and TBS? Could we get Chuck back? Because I know the Big East.
Could you get Chuck at the Chuck?
Right.
Even though they play at the Chuck.
It would be across the street, but I see what you're trying to angle at there too. But yeah, could we reinvigorate Chuck if there was some college basketball, especially Big East basketball on TNT and TBS?
Mm-hmm.
Because there could be a future of that. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Jimmy. The news yesterday, and we were curious on where this might go. Kendall Rogers earlier in the day yesterday was reporting that Creighton is expected to hire former South Carolina head coach Mark Kingston as its new head coach. Now, Mark Kingston also a fellow Missouri Valley Conference head coach, so that's great. And then later, we learned that on top of that news, that Kendall Rogers reporting that former head coach for South Florida, and really Kingston's right-hand man for a while when he was at South Florida, Billy Mole, will be the top assistant / pitching coach at Creighton. There was a lot to process with that yesterday, Gary. I want to make sure Ed's going to be a part of this. Is that, I mean, that's the whole story when this was coming out is, okay, there's your new head coach. You got your top assistant. The way that it was first talked about in the official release of the future of Ed Service was Ed's top assistant would be the heir apparent, would be the coach in waiting, as they said. Now we've got the head coach, Mark Kingston, and the top assistant. So this is the big question. Is Ed Service still going to be the coach in 2025 right now?
So, yeah, there is a lot to unpack here. Let me first start this off by saying kudos to Creighton. They are spending money on baseball.
Yep.
They are spending money. Andy Sawyers, former Nebraska assistant, was their top candidate. Had a great visit here to Omaha, but at the end decided that SEMO was the place for him. Mark Kingston was let go after this past season at South Carolina, where he got the Gamecocks to the NCAA tournament. And Nick, as you mentioned, he has a connection to the Missouri Valley Conference at Illinois State. So Creighton pivoted pretty quick to lock in Kingston and then to bring another former head coach to Omaha. So they're spending some money. They'll announce it later this morning. I think we will have Coach Kingston on the show tomorrow morning. But it's going to be an interesting dynamic because Ed is still the head coach. Mark Kingston is the coach in waiting, head coach. I'm not sure, and maybe all the parties don't know how this dynamic is going to work on, how you put together your roster and who you're recruiting and the portal and 1-year guys and how all of that's going to work. it's an interesting situation. I think it's also kind of interesting, Nick. And again, I like this hire. I think this is a good hire for Creighton, and I like that there's an indication that you care about baseball because they are spending some money, and that's great. But if I recall, Mark Kingston and Ed Service butted heads in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Mm-hmm.
Like they both wanted to get near the top, and they maybe have had a run-in or two when they were previously in the same league. Maybe it's water under the bridge, but I just don't know how the dynamic's going to work on who gets to make the lineup card, who makes a decision, that only pertains to 2026. You take care of that. This is kind of, I'm not going to say unprecedented, but it's kind of a weird, it's not somebody that's on staff. It's somebody coming from the outside that they're trying to build up the program. But it's also, a couple of guys that when the next coaching cycle comes around, they're going to be courted.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So, get ready. The 2025 Creighton baseball season is going to be fascinating on a study on how all this works. But this is a good hire for Creighton. They're spending some money, and we'll see where this goes. But buckle up. 2025 could be a wild ride of, whose program it is. Hopefully they do it right, and Ed is able to go out and whatever. But this time next year, Ed Service will not be part of Creighton baseball, and this program will belong to Mark Kingston. But what will 25 mean for 26? So we'll see. I mean, that's a question that I'm sure when Mark Kingston talks to the media, that'll come up right away. Is how is this all going to work? Not how you got here, because I think they sold him on the job. That hey, I can do this job.
Mm-hmm.
Then to the NCAA tournament, that's where you guys want to go. So it's a nice little match. It's going to be, like who goes out to meet with the umpires? Who makes a pitching change? All of those weird things that nobody has ever been through before, but this situation has created it.
And I have thoughts on that, but I want to go back to something you brought up of the next coaching cycle, and if Mark Kingston could be involved in that. That's why I thought the hire of Billy Moll, given his experience, was significant from a standpoint of, okay, I'm not saying they're making that hire because they know Mark Kingston eventually could be up for another job later on in his time at Creighton, but it doesn't hurt to have a guy on your staff that has been a head coach, at South Florida, has been a part of some winning programs there too, that you have that guy that if it were to be a situation where Mark Kingston takes a job, that maybe Billy Moll eventually would be your coach in waiting, assuming that Mark Kingston wouldn't take him along with him. This whole thing, I think, yesterday was very fascinating. Now, as far as, and we talked about this, a week or two ago, about being able to honor Ed the way that Creighton wanted to, but if that was necessarily the best thing for any type of transition. And now that we know who it is, and given his experience, this is almost where I feel Ed Service has that CEO role type, and that's just about it. Where I think a lot of the recruitment decisions are, some of them will be for the immediate roster, but I think a lot of those too will be for the years to come, where you have to let Kingston make those decisions, I would think.
Yeah, it's going to be weird. I think it's I don't know how it works. I mean, almost, you go back, you should have just fired Ed. Should have started over. Just fired Ed.
Especially
if it wasn't going to be somebody on the staff.
Right. And I'm 100% with you there, Gary. If we always thought that, okay, if they're doing this led to a Connor Gandassi coach in waiting type of situation where he's on staff. We're going to give him one more year, but Connor Gandassi's going to take more of a prominent role. And by the time they get to 2026, that Connor Gandassi would really have full control over the program. Now you're bringing in a former SEC head coach, but also I think it's important to know that there was a relationship between Ed and Mark Kingston that wasn't always,
which probably always helped. Which, even though a little rocky, but
familiar
helps. Yeah,
sure,
yeah.
But it still comes down to, you're telling a guy who was just fired that yeah, you're going to lead our program going forward. But we're going to some respect, we're going to put a little bit of the training wheels on this first year. We're going to onboard you for the entire year. And you're going to go through the HR part of it for an entire year. And then by the time we get done with that, wherever Creighton goes next year, whether they get some postseason opportunities or not, then you get to completely take over. Then it is your gig. For up-and-coming coaches, I think that's appropriate. That's maybe a little bit easier to explain to your current roster and to sell. For a guy who's already established like Mark Kingston, I'm really fascinated on how this was presented, and the things that maybe we will or not find out is what exactly his role is going to be when it comes to matters of this baseball program, both internally and externally, because I find it really tough to believe that he's going to be sort of taking the cues from Ed Service in his final year. To me, I think it's going to be more of Ed's going to take a big step back. Mark Kingston's going to be doing a lot of this stuff, not even behind the scenes, but I think it's probably going to be more visible where Ed is essentially kind of that CEO role where he'll do the post-game pressers. When you talk about the team previews, he'll handle that role, and Kingston will do the head coaching grinding duties, and then he'll do all of that in 2026. That's the best way I can figure this out. I still think it's just very awkward. I still go back to, I just think this is a very awkward situation for Creighton, on top of what I think is a pretty exciting 2 hires that they made yesterday.
Yeah. They're good hires. Both needed a job, but you have to sell them on the job to come all the way to Omaha, Nebraska when you have been in the state of Florida or you've been in the SEC. I imagine both places are still picking up a good majority of their salaries. So it's not like Mark Kingston made close to $1 million at South Carolina. All of a sudden, Creighton's paying a baseball coach close to $1 million. I think you're right on, Nick, about how the dynamic's going to work. Maybe the saving grace is you have a guy in Ed who the institution has meant a lot to him, and it's not like he's going somewhere else to coach after this year.
Right.
So he doesn't want to go out with a bad taste of, again, we're not in the NCAA tournament. I think he wants to create the experience that he goes out on a high note, but wow, fascinating on how all of this is going to come together and what everybody's duties are going to be, and just how recruiting is going to work. I mean, they have some pieces they have to replace that were out of eligibility or have departed Creighton via the portal. Who takes the lead on that? Is Ed involved at all in recruiting? Because now you have 2 guys that are not real familiar to the local scene. And they're going to try and navigate a portal where it's being, fleeced by the power conferences, and you don't have an abundance of cash. So, how do you go about filling those holes in your roster? The whole experiment will be something that everybody will keep an eye on all season long. And I also say good luck to the players that are here, because it will not be easy trying to understand whether you're in your last year of eligibility or you're a new player in the program of, okay, how does this all work? Who am I listening to? Who do I go to if I have an issue? All of those things that no one's ever really gone through before.
Yeah, it's not as if you remember being in, whether this was in college or high school, and you're during a lecture, and all of a sudden somebody comes in and says a teacher, and they're just sitting back taking notes, and they're observing. They're like, "Oh, I'm just observing. Don't mind me." That's not going to be Mark Kingston. He's not just going to be sitting back taking notes, seeing how Ed runs the day to day, and he'll be a very silent role. I think it's going to be the exact opposite. I think it's going to be a very proactive role, and I think everything about. Let's put it this way, because I think this is kind of the bigger question that I have. Is the decision that was made to give Ed the one more season and have the coach in waiting. We both agreed on this. This was going to be a tough sell. It led you to believe, okay, how serious are you taking this baseball product with Creighton? And I know how we felt about that. Then you get those hires yesterday, and then you're thinking, wait a minute. Okay, you're spending some money. You're bringing in some guys that have some college baseball chops. But it goes back to, now that you got these guys, do you regret the initial decision to have Ed come back for another year? And so it's all you kind of go back and forth on this one as far as how serious Creighton is taking this when it comes to their baseball program, because the hires yesterday would indicate that they're taking it very serious. But then it goes back to the original stance that they had of we're going to give Ed one more year and then he's going to retire. It still makes for a very confusing season as far as, and you're right about the players more than anything, unless they do a fantastic job of right out of the gate managing expectations, defining roles, and so those guys know exactly how it's going to be. I just think that is a major challenge. And I, again, maybe we'll know, maybe we won't, how this entire setup was presented to Mark Kingston and what ultimately sold him on that vision, because it's so unusual, especially for a guy who was at a very prominent college baseball program in South Carolina. So I don't know how this is going to go. It's a good hires, but it goes back to that defining of rules in 2025 for a baseball program that at least wants to, at the very least wants to be back in the Big East tournament, if not make themselves eligible for the NCAA tournament as well.
Yeah, it goes back to something I said on the first day, is Ed's too nice of a guy. They didn't want to fire him, but they didn't have a plan.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm with you that these are two really good hires, and it gives an indication that they want the program to move forward and not let UConn be the top dog in the Big East. But it also is like, okay, well, now what's our plan? Like, you can do this and say, hey, we'll have a swan song and we'll celebrate Ed, and we'll go out in the NCAA tournament, but you got to have a plan. But we don't want to fire Ed because of the backlash, because he's one of the good guys that is attached to Creighton baseball. But okay, now what do we do? And maybe two guys that got fired at their last jobs, maybe it bailed you out, because the two good baseball guys didn't work at South Florida, at South Carolina. And I think it's going to work at Creighton. Just a weird 2025, going to be a weird year on the hilltop. But it has to end in the NCAA tournament. That's the way for Ed to go out.
Yeah, I would totally agree. All right, coming up, Evan Bland joins us in about an hour. We'll get an update on the College World Series. Got an elimination game today at 1. Then we've got a winner's bracket game. Tennessee already in the driver's seat. They play on Wednesday. And we will also talk a little bit of Husker football, including a big 4-star defensive commit yesterday and another list that has Nebraska in the top 40 as a team, by the way, as well. That and plenty more coming your way here right after this. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, you are looking, as we are now past Father's Day, hope everybody enjoyed Father's Day. You are looking for events that are on the calendar, and you're like, here we go. It's time. I got to get a new suit. Or you know what? I just need a sport coat. You know what you need? You need to go to Lindley Clothing, because listen up, my friends. Lindley Clothing kicking off today. They're having a buy one, get one 50% off sale on suits and sports coats. We like to call it the BOGO 50% sale. So this is how it works. Remember, we're talking about Lindley Clothing, the top of the top in men's casual clothing, casual wear, sizes, styles, selection, the best. Lindley Clothing. Buy one suit or sports coat at regular price and get a suit or sport coat of equal or lesser value at 50% off. The sale is going on right now. I mean, right now, when they open the doors, and it ends with a bang on July 3rd. We're talking about Lindley Clothing. You can't beat this deal. You can't beat the service, the selection, the style, all at Lindley Clothing. Right now is the time to get there. Their BOGO 50% off sale. Buy one, get one. Suits, sports coats, and make sure that you tell them that 1620 The Zone and Gary sent you to Lindley Clothing and Well Suited, located in the Linden Market, 132nd and West Dodge.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. You get a lot of junk in your inbox. This one, not junk. Not junk at all. 1620 The Email. Exclusive content, contests, other stuff probably. Subscribe today at 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Hot, humid, and windy conditions on tap for Monday. Expect partly sunny skies throughout the day with south winds gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. Expect highs around 90 with feels-like temperatures in the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620, The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. No accidents to report currently, but moving a little bit slower I-80 westbound right now between Giles and NE Highway 50. And just as a warning, 63rd and Sorensen reports of teenagers jumping on cars and stopping traffic. Not the safest thing, wouldn't recommend doing that. Just something to look out for if you will be in that area soon. Traffic will be picking up a bit here in the next hour. Just remember to stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
The electrical market requires your company to adjust to an ever-changing field. IBEW Local 22 gives you flexibility with access to journeymen, apprentices, and proven training programs. Call Bob at IBEW Local 22 for details at 402-980-7596.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
Post is roasting every morning. Post Coffee Services is on a mission to invigorate every workplace with a blend of bold flavors and unforgettable service, creating moments with our coffee, water, and food services that spark joy, productivity, and connection. Call us today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Post Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Got an elimination game starting at 8 o'clock. What?
Well,
okay.
I just got an email. So we got lots to discuss about what happened on the broadcast this weekend, but we had something special last night. I will I'm very. You never know who's listening.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, wait, continue on. Sorry.
No.
By the way, at the Exarban area, it is raining.
Yeah, we're getting. I think
it's raining here.
I mean, we can essentially we're neighbors for the most part of where you are, and it's coming down pretty good right now.
Can I make it nice and muggy later?
Can I make an observation here? Now you guys are in trouble because I've had now my second cup of coffee and I'm waking up. Did I hear? Hey, did I hear Peter say in traffic?
Oh yeah.
On Sorensen Parkway, there are kids that are jumping on cars.
Yep.
Okay.
We're wondering why they are up this early, and then my only response was they haven't gone to bed yet.
Are they A&M fans by chance? Because I would check out.
Yeah, could be a couple A&M fans. We don't know. That was that was interesting. By the way, Saturday night.
Okay, now, so I want to. I know the whole story, but we have to make an editorial decision along with our listeners because it is getting a lot of attention locally and nationally. There was an incident that occurred early in the game between Texas A&M and Florida.
Yep.
Do we want to address it because we're giving attention to the two friggin' idiots that were involved, or do we want to move on? I'll let you guys decide. I know the entire story. They should never be allowed back in the ballpark, but that's your call. That's your call.
I think what has been said is said, and I think it's okay to move
Bad
on.
look for Texas A&M. I know it's not indicative of, and they actually had some good publicity Saturday night earlier in the night back in College Station, but they actually reminded me of the two dudes that attacked Tom Gamboa at Comiskey. That's not good. Also late tonight.
So there is one thing that some people are like, I don't know if those were Texas A&M fans. That were wearing Texas A&M gear.
That's even worse.
Oh,
actually.
Okay,
we got stand-ins.
People better buckle up for this story because I got to tell it now because Bob on the Equitable Bank inbox hit me up, and there's other people that are reading responses and heard Jim Schlossnagel say something yesterday that don't know the story fully. So here's what happened. Saturday night, early in the game, there are two fans, and they're, I don't know, what would you guys say? It looked like it was a dad and a son.
It did. It looked like one was maybe in his mid-late 20s. The other looked like, maybe late 40s, early 50s.
Evil Father's Day story.
Yeah.
So they are, and you have, when you sit down in the lower bowl next to the dugouts are kind of wide open. So you got some access. So you can holler at players and they can hear you.
Yep.
And early in the game, there are two, these two is, I love what you said about how you described them, Jimmy, except they were dressed. They come down to the railing outside of the Florida dugout. And what we kind of discussed on the air, but was shown by ESPN. I didn't know this, guys, that ESPN kind of showed the whole incident.
They did, at least enough to.
They delayed the game because there was commotion outside of the Florida dugout.
Mm-hmm.
What people saw, it had started about 15 minutes earlier, where these guys were not running down to the dugout on the railing away from the dugout, but close enough. They had been saying things to Florida since the game started. And the tipping point was these two come down to the railing right next to the Florida dugout. And Nick, you've been down on the field when Florida's been playing. At one end of the dugout, the end of the dugout that is closest to the stands are the Florida coaches, and they are lined up across the railing. Yep. And Kevin O'Sullivan, the head coach of Florida, is there. And so they start, these two a-holes,
yahoos,
start. They're a-holes.
Yeah.
They start in on
a name of a former bat boy at Florida who was killed by his father.
Yeah.
So here's the backstory real quickly. Brody was his name. He was a former bat boy under Kevin O'Sullivan at Florida. He was 11 years old. Kevin O'Sullivan was friends with the family. The father of two boys who are 11 and 14 murdered his kids. He killed them, then set their family home on fire, and he perished in the fire as well. They were family friends to Kevin O'Sullivan, and Kevin O'Sullivan has stayed in close contact with the wife, the ex-wife. But not everybody knows this story, and especially if you're not following Florida or lived in Gainesville when this happened, because this was awful. I mean, just awful. The two boys were 11 and 14. Dad murdered them and then set the house on fire. You don't recognize the name. So you're going, why was Florida so triggered? The two a-holes dressed in Texas A&M gear come down and they are hollering about the situation, but they use the name of the boy that used to be the bat boy for Florida that was killed by his dad. Now, I hope this starts to make sense on why all of a sudden the Florida baseball team snapped, because they would really be the only ones that would recognize the name. You know, the local authorities, they have no idea, other than it's probably two drunk buffoons that are hollering at Florida what is going on, and then going, well, why'd they get so upset? Yeah. So that's what happened. Brandon Neely, who would come into the game later on Saturday night, he had to be restrained. He wanted to go up into the stands and fight these guys. And you saw the reaction of the Florida staff. I mean, they were coming at those guys, and local Mecca staff, the Omaha police had to step in. So that was the commotion, and they rushed them out of the ballpark. These two a-holes go across the street, and people are buying them drinks in the bar. And now now that their faces are everywhere, I think they'll be banned from the ballpark. The Omaha Police Department and the Police Association put out a strongly worded statement. So that's the situation from Saturday night. We briefly discussed it on air because they stopped the game because the third base umpire looking across the diamond could see that there was something going on. And all of a sudden, Kevin O'Sullivan is like involved in it. So they stopped the game. I didn't know until actually Josh Odson told me that ESPN showed it, what was going on.
Yep, they did. So what had happened is, okay, so you're seeing a prolonged image of just one of the Florida players, and then there's mention of, we've got something going on in the dugout, and you catch a little bit of the end of what I would say the younger of the two is leaning over the rail and he's barking, and then joined by the father. You catch really the end of that part, and then between the Mecca staff, you have the one gentleman that's in between the dugout and where those stands are, and I forget his name. We see him all the time. Did a great job of maintaining order, not letting anything get out of control. But then you see police escorting, and you actually do see, and this is what I was surprised, because it's the same thing when there's somebody that runs onto the field, that they're not going to give them that attention. The cameras actually follow them going up to the stands with their arms raised in celebration that they had just accomplished something. So it was actually very surprising that they stuck with it that long. Sometimes you'll get a split second glimpse of what the interruption or the delay is, and then they'll go right back to something else. And they did try to do that, but there was, hell, Gary, I would say probably a good 15 to 20 seconds of the incident that was actually on camera live during the broadcast. Now, the context at the time, if you're watching that live, you don't know what's going on. You had to rely on people that were either in the stands, or I know a lot of the beat writers, one of the Florida beat writers, and then there was a college baseball beat writer that was near the incident that they were describing what was being said. So it didn't take long to figure out as that was going on of what was being said. But and when you heard who they were referring to, and I didn't know about that they're getting drinks bought for them across the street at the bar, and that's good Lord, man. But yeah, it was very surprising that the telecast itself caught as much of it that it did, because it was just we see this all the time, and you described the dugout and the stands perfectly. So there's occasionally going to be some heckling going on, and you're around that many fans. You endure that. You knew that it had to, if you've got the assistant coaches and Kevin O'Sullivan, and then you have players that are engaged in this, that they are extremely livid and extremely emotional about it, that they're ready to come out of the dugout and do something about it. It had to be something that was more of, you guys suck, you're Florida, oh, you suck, and, saying all these just common things. That was bad when we heard more of the context of what was being said. And yeah, I'm with Gary. There was a lot that was, once they put their faces out there, I'm hoping that anybody who thought it'd be fun to buy them drinks or to applaud what they were doing, I hope they feel a little bit bad about that, because that was ridiculous. I'm going to take a quick break. Gary, you still there? We don't have your video there.
We hear him, but he lost audio.
Okay, I got you.
Figure out
we lost
some weird stuff going on with the storm blowing through.
We lost your image
during the break.
Yes, we lost your image.
Not just the fact that our fridge is dying. If anyone can hear that on the radio,
I believe it's a lot more quiet now. Something happened. Well, geez, all kinds of weird stuff is happening. All right, when we come back, though, I do want to get into it was a big weekend for Nebraska football with official visitors, and also a big commitment yesterday. We'll talk on that. Also, we got Evan Bland coming up in hour number 3. Jacob Bigalow will kick off hour number 4, as we will talk some College World Series as well. Get you ready for the matchups. Omaha Baseball Village coverage begins at 10 o'clock. Josh Peterson, I'll be joining him as soon as I get down there. And then, of course,
spent the night there
underneath
the tablecloth.
Sometimes you just forget where you are, but Florida State, NC State at 1, and then it's Kentucky, Texas A&M winners bracket game tonight at 6 o'clock. As we're back with more after this here on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
I'm Dave Austed. And I'm Ryan Austed. Every golfer will get value from being custom fit. The truth is, the higher handicappers will get more value from being custom fit than the low handicappers.
It's changed so much since my dad started the business in 1963. We now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, and we know exactly what the spin rate is, what the launch angle is. We encourage you to bring your current clubs in now, and we can compare it. And guys walk out of the store knowing that the purchase they just made is going to give them 21 more yards off the tee box. Play better, have fun, and shop Austed's.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's a new tomorrow on the other side of the horizon. There are promises to honor, work that needs to be done, friendships to enjoy, and people that count on each other. These are the things that tie our communities together. They always have, and they always will. Build your tomorrow with a bank you can rely on. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Don't answer that. It's another roof gypsy ringing the doorbell. They are attempting to capitalize on the misfortune that Mother Nature has thrown your way. Make the right call to a trusted company that has faithfully served the Omaha area for over 35 years. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
For roofing, siding, and gutter repair, make the right call to John Higgins Weather Guard.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the Rooferees. Make the right call.
The light is fading, your hands are sore, and the last tool's been put away. Now is the time to feel the satisfaction that comes with a job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels a little different. Your wallet. Because we believe that everyone deserves hardworking tools at hardworking prices. And that's what we have here. So, whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
We had a little lightning impact. So if you were getting a little static, a little technical difficulty there, that is exactly what happened. But apparently we just had another one and it just knocked us back on. So it's the fall in the well, as they say.
Got kicked by a mule and the stations are back.
Eyes go crossed. Kicked by a mule to go back. I don't know.
Good morning.
So better, I think that's what knocked me off. So better to have this all happen in Omaha right now instead of between 1 and about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we don't need anything interrupting your guys' broadcast.
Should be a nice day today. I mean, we're muggy, but
So I mean, unfortunately, we're in the middle of a story. You and I were talking about what happened on Saturday night. All I will say is this: there are some people that yesterday were asking, are they really Texas A&M fans or are they Florida State fans that dressed in Texas A&M gear? And my quick response was, I don't care who they are.
Yeah.
They could be Nebraska fans.
Does it matter?
They should never be allowed back in the ballpark. And now everybody knows what they look like.
Yeah.
You know, so I would imagine that they will not be allowed back in the ballpark. And probably, you know what? I'm guessing they don't want to be in the ballpark. But what they did was absolutely Bush. And I had no problem with the way that Florida reacted. It probably,
I didn't either.
It probably, from what I understand, it had been brewing for a bit. Probably could have been headed off at the pass, but you never know. We're probably lucky that we did not have either Florida coaches, staff members, or players going up into the stands to try and pummel these two clowns.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm being, and I apologize for comparing them to clowns, because clowns are actually much better than these two friggin' yahoos. And also the people that were like, hey, that were at the local establishment where these two went after the game, that were buying them drinks to go, hey, I just saw you on TV.
Yeah, that was my whole point, Gary, is hopefully now that some of those people that thought, hey, I saw you on TV, oh, you were heckling Florida, oh, that's cool, let's buy you a drink. Now that the context has been made very much public, and you mentioned OPD, who put out a statement, and they made sure that the context was known as well.
Yeah, their pictures all over
I'm
Channel
hoping
6
those
this
people
morning.
feel a little bit worse about their purchase of just, hey, you guys are the crazy fans that were heckling. Like that's about as classless as it gets. And there's probably another word for that unfortunately we can't say here on the air. But
you could say it on the podcast.
Yeah, I like to. There's always a category where I like to refer to people as human gutter balls. I feel like when you like to go that route, I feel like, especially if that's the context of your heckling and you're going after what was an absolute tragedy, you're a human gutter ball.
So if you see him today, you're not going to give him 1620 the ball or a Zen water.
No.
Heck no. No. I Texas A&M, Jim Schlossnagle, who was oblivious to what was going on, other than there was some commotion. was asked about it yesterday after you have a chance to, people go, hey, did you see what happened? They were dressed in Texas A&M gear. He addressed it pretty swiftly of those are not who we are, and Texas A&M fans. And so we'll see. Texas A&M and Kentucky tonight. Trev Alberts will be in attendance tonight.
Yeah.
After being part of 110,000 at the George Strait concert at Kyle Field on Saturday night. They had 110,000 people at the home of Texas A&M football.
I was asked this question at the Omaha Baseball Village on Friday. Will Trev be wearing khakis or will he go shorts? I've never seen him in shorts, I feel like.
I have never, outside of his athletic career.
Yeah, when they had to.
I have never.
Does he have legs?
I have yeah. I've never seen Trev not dressed up. Like
I don't have either.
Either wearing a suit or a polo with slacks tucked in.
Yeah. And it's gonna be warm today.
But it's different. That's a great question because I'm pretty sure I saw Scott Strickland, the athletic director at Florida, either on Saturday night or in the past. He wears shorts.
Yep. I saw Omaha's athletic director last year at the Omaha Baseball Village. He was walking around. He had shorts on too.
Right. Polls up on Twitter right now on the Sharp and Handley page.
I've seen that athletic director on a golf course walking down the 18th hole to go fish his ball out of the sand trap. Yeah. But he's cock diesel. I mean, Adrian like works out. Speaking of playing golf in that part of town, if Mac is listening this morning, we apologize.
Oh yeah, how'd it go on Friday or Thursday? I'm sorry, Thursday.
Oh no, not that part. I think Mac played at a local golf course out in the 180th and Pacific area, and then he went to get a beverage, and our DMs were blowing up. Oh my God, you won't believe I'm here with friends. And Mac is here.
Okay.
He's like, having an adult beverage with friends.
Sure.
So, it's a little bit later on Friday, and this person was very excited because they're a Creighton basketball fan, and they have never seen Mac that close. And so all of us were like, okay, you need to go talk to him. Okay, you need to go tell him that you're a huge Creighton fan. But most importantly, you're a fan of Mac on 1620, and ask him about Everlevel concrete repair.
Everlevel.
Say, I love those commercials. You know what? We hired him for a job we have because of you. Because you are the coach. Oh, gosh. Did you ever hear back if
no, because I don't think this person could pull off that execution. They would just fumble it, and all of a sudden Mac would be like, hey, thanks for your support. Roll damn Jays.
Yeah, roll damn Jays.
I'm just enjoying a drink, okay? Keep it moving. We'll see you in November.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, I can't get you tickets to the KU game.
Yeah, there's that. I thought it was going to be something about the beverage he was drinking. Like he was having like a natter day or something.
No, it's just this person was like super excited. Like, did you know that Mac is here? Do you know Mac is at? And I'm like, well, he is like human.
Yeah, he likes golf just like other people.
Lives in that part of town. I mean, he's like, oh my God, he's normal. Well, yeah. What the hell? You think he's a robot?
Just like me.
He spoke.
He goes to Hy-Vee and everything.
It's weird.
My God, he has a wallet.
Yeah,
he knows how to do the tap.
He wears shorts. He wears shorts and polos.
He has the same wallet as Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction.
I don't know. You know what? I'm thinking back now. The last athletic director at Nebraska that I saw wearing shorts was Bill Byrne.
Bill
Byrne would wear shorts. I never saw
Stevie P.
Never saw that thing wear shorts.
Yeah.
Never saw. I mean, T.O. only wears shorts if he's coaching, and they have to be the red bike shorts that show off the whole thigh.
Yep, with the two snaps.
We need zone.
I don't know. Did you ever see Moose in shorts?
No, I never saw Moose in shorts.
Didn't know that would be a topic on the show today.
Saw
Poll
Moose
question?
in different circumstances, but I never saw Moose in shorts.
I mean, what was more
Going
likely?
up right
What was more likely? You would see Bill Moose as athletic director at Nebraska in shorts or a tattered sweatshirt at a basketball game.
I mean, if you would have asked me that a handful of years ago, I would have said I would assume shorts, but boy, would we be wrong. Yeah, Trev, I don't know. Trev will have a polo on, and it'll be slacks. He won't be rocking shorts. If he is, it'll just be so weird. It'd be really, really bizarre to see. I hope he proves us wrong.
88% say Trev Alberts does not have legs.
Okay, I've never seen him.
Well, you might want to shut off the comments on that poll because it.
Something. Yeah. Else. Yeah, that very well could. Speaking of Nebraska
this is
football,
a positive program.
Well, sometimes
it will when they go to a bowl game.
Yeah, exactly. Husker football news I mentioned over the weekend. We'll tell you about the latest commit as well on the defensive side. Also, Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald will get you ready for today's action. We'll get him some football stuff in there too. It's not just baseball for Evan too. He obviously likes to dabble in a little Nebraska football. That is all coming up. Hour 3 is on the way here on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. A crash reported I-80 westbound between the on-ramp from 60th to the 72nd Street exit. All lanes are currently affected. The second lane from left is still open, but expect pretty heavy delays here for a little while. And that traffic picking up Dodge eastbound right now in those express lanes between 150th and 137th. Please stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzel.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
We're excited to announce the grand opening of Saul's Jewelry and Loan's new downtown location. It's a Saul's shopping experience like you've never seen. Amazing jewelry finds at our famous best-in-town prices. Tools, bikes, guitars. 22nd and Hardy, downtown Omaha, Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
A Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
I'm Ryan Osted. Golf is great because it can be whatever you want it to be. If you want to go out and have a competitive 18 holes, you can make it that. If you want to go out and have a scramble and just have the time of your life, if you want to have a charity golf tournament to raise money for some great cause, you can make it that. It is flexible to be whatever you need it to be at that particular moment in your life. And I've needed golf to be different things at different points in my life. And I'm certainly thankful that I was able to learn the game as a kid and continue to play it now as an adult.
Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
At Cox Mobile, we know you're smart. You brush your teeth in the shower to save time, make coffee ice cubes for your cold brew, and wear goggles to cut onions. You also added Cox Mobile. So smart. Now you're running on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability and saving on your Cox internet. It's ingenious, just like you. Aw, thanks. Cox Mobile, the smart way to mobile. Cox postpaid internet required. Cox Mobile runs on the network with unbeatable 5G reliability as measured by Ookla LLC in the U.S. through H 2023. Other restrictions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
She posted about us just now.
Celebrities can't get enough of Be Honest Bespoke skincare line.
She has 147 million followers. How do we monetize?
She needs a social media associate to help her with the hype.
We should repost this. Do we need a hashtag?
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
It's a big weekend for Nebraska football. Official visitors, of course, there was the Jones one. We'll get to a little bit. Not necessarily ready to make a timetable on when a commitment could be, but also if you were paying attention to what's been happening with Nebraska football when it comes to recruiting, Malcolm Simpson, a 4-star defensive lineman out of Hitchcock, Texas, had made his commitment yesterday. 6'3", 255. And Sharpie, I was reading just his overall decision on what led him to commit to Nebraska, and he was glowing about not only the tradition of what Nebraska used to be, said they used to be Alabama, hell, they used to be better than Alabama, but he also talked about Terrence Knighton and just the personal attention, the actual offer in person, which he made it sound like it was kind of rare. I'm surprised, what was it, Kansas and some other schools that were in on him that didn't give him that type of love. I thought, hey, that's just what the staff does. But apparently a little of that personal touch went a long way when it came to what appears to be a very solid addition, especially with the way that you see Terrence Knighton and you see Tony White being able to utilize young defensive linemen. I just found that very interesting that's what stood out to him about Nebraska compared to the others that were in on Simpson.
I mean, that's the Nebraska way is the personal touch. I'll tell you, so a little backstory on this commitment. And ironically, we were talking at the end of last week about going to get defensive linemen, offensive linemen. Can Nebraska be a top 10 unit in the front seven on defense? And what kind of an impact that will be? Well, you got to have a guy that's a run stopper like this that has the potential to be one of those guys that fits in with a Robinson and Hutmacher when their eligibility is over, and you just keep rolling guys over. So the Terrence Knighton tweet, did you see when Nebraska gets a recruit, and especially a defensive line recruit, Terrence Knighton will tweet out the GIF of, or the GIF of Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
So when that happened, the recruiting people that cover Nebraska recruiting weren't sure exactly who it was. Like there was a scramble. Most recruits that commit to Nebraska, the recruiting guys, the ones that are really good at their job, they already know that they're going to commit to Nebraska. So that's why once it's made public, you see like 6 stories that are out.
Yeah.
Most of them already have an inkling of they're committing at this time. Please don't ruin their announcement. But once they commit, it's free game. You know, if you have a good relationship, sometimes you're tipped off to that. Well, in this case, a couple of the recruiting guys that covered Nebraska didn't know exactly who this was. Going through the list of guys that are on campus that would be more likely to say yes, or somebody that has recently been to campus that finally said yes. So it was like a scramble on Saturday trying to figure out who this person was. It's a good pickup for Nebraska. It's one of those guys that I think is going to get a lot of attention as the summer goes on and the fall goes on. So it's important that he likes his relationship with Nebraska and in particular his position coach, so you can hold on to a guy like that. Because I think because of that size, I mean, you can't coach size. you might have something there. So it's good. In the middle of June, it's a good pickup for Nebraska. I mean, no one's complaining about getting a 4-star defensive lineman anymore. And if you are, you're probably Georgia.
Yeah, I was like, where's that?
I'll take him.
Where's that damn 5th star at? No, that was you mentioned something that the first thing I thought of yesterday when that news came over is the list is Houston. I know Kansas was in, A&M, USC all offered. Texas Tech was in on them too.
All football superpowers.
Mighty
Cougs and my guy Willie Fritz.
Well, people that get in on the NIL game as well. But when you get these commitments that happen in June, and we're talking about 2025 guys here, that okay, well, he talked about the things that he really enjoyed about Nebraska. He talked about the connection that he had with the head coach. You mentioned it, and I think it's important because, look, we know that the verbal commitments are what they are. You start getting even more attention, and people are trying to maybe get you to change your mind at the 11th hour. That's where I thought the work that Terrence Knight put in, you hope that connection, that relationship is one that's going to be a pretty strong one, until you get to December and you're able to sign on that. So that it's always good to get those commitments early, but you also wonder if they're still going to camps, if they're still taking maybe some official visits, or if they're just still being courted by other schools, how they will try to sway you the other way. I think that's where that relationship, that connection that he talked about seemed to be a big deal to him, that I would hope you feel as good as you can, because do you ever feel 100% confident when it comes to these matters? But I think that relationship, I just thought it was really interesting though, because you don't hear this a lot, Gary, about the past of Nebraska and how that was sold. Because I mean, he went into that part of the overall experience of Nebraska and what they used to be. I always thought you can throw that in as a sprinkler when it comes to trying to pull in a high-end recruiter, someone that you just know is going to be a good fit. I just refreshing, sure, interesting, probably more interesting that's also part of what swayed you is, man, they used to be better than Alabama. And it goes to show you that they're still, not they, but I think coaching staffs with where the record has been for Nebraska as of late are still selling that, and they should, of, hey, this place used to be up for grabs when things were good, and we're on the verge of doing that again. This is where we were a while ago. This is where we're trying to get back to, and you can be right there in the middle of it. Obviously, that's still something that it resonates with certain guys, which I didn't know how much of a factor that is when it comes to the sales pitch for Nebraska.
Doesn't that sound, though, like somebody that just went on an official visit and went around the facility, and they bring you into the lobby, and there's the championship trophies, and then they walk you down the hall, and there's all the pictures of guys that played at Nebraska. And, oh, by the way, there are 3 national championships. And, oh, by the way, there's 3 Heisman Trophy winners right there. Isn't this like coming off the official visit? Because I know they don't, one of the things that Scott tried to sell to recruits, especially local recruits, was, hey, we want you to be part of getting us back to what we were.
Yep.
The one of the pitches to local recruits nowadays is, we want you to be part of establishing what Nebraska football is. Not referencing the 90s, because, there's nobody on staff that was playing here in the 90s. They don't run away from it because they have the bells and whistles because of the previous success, but they're not selling, hey, help us run it back. They're like, hey, help us establish, we want to be this current edition of Nebraska, but you can't not tell the past on an official visit, because it is everywhere there. It's just, how does the kid consume it? Does he look at it and go, wow, I didn't know that. Oh man, if I come here and do this, this, and this, I might have one of those shiny things. My portrait might be up on the hallway wall. It's kind of refreshing,
Yeah, I think it is too.
That's somebody that is that young, that was, in their lifetime, Nebraska football hasn't been the Nebraska football that we know in our lifetime. So, maybe that helps you when you try and hold on. But I got to imagine, as we get through camping season and then we get into the regular season, and you're located in that part of Texas, so Galveston and Omaha are not suburbs. I hate to disappoint people that are in town from out of town that Galveston, Texas, and Omaha, Nebraska are not like close.
Not quite.
Yeah, they're not.
Zorinsky doesn't remind me of Galveston. Correct.
No. That a lot of people are going to come kick the tires. So if you have that in your back pocket as one of the many connections to keep somebody, that's a good thing. I kind of found it refreshing because we don't really hear that from out-of-state players anymore.
Yeah, I agree. And the other part is, if you're going to hear that from any type of recruit that commits to Nebraska, aren't you more likely to hear that from an out-of-state recruit as opposed to an in-state? Because this is the one thing that we'll always have with the in-state recruits is chances are mom and dad or older brother or grandpa or uncle has told them about the days that were Nebraska football. I think it's more of the out-of-state guys that they don't have the family influence or anybody around them to necessarily say, yeah, man, Nebraska was a wagon back then. So then you see those for yourself. You're like, wait, whoa. Oh, okay. Yeah. I thought I heard something, but damn. So you got, wow, there's the Heisman trophies. Oh man, there's the Sears. Wow. That's awesome. I feel like that does have more of an impact than it would for a local kid. Not saying like a local kid would see that and just dismiss it, but they're more familiar with it because they've been inundated with stories about it as well.
Yeah. I think the point you made about mom and dad, when Nebraska football was humming along and they were playing on Black Friday, how many people watched that game? A lot of people watched that game. A lot of recruits reference that game, whether they're in state or out of state. Oh man, my parents grew up. My dad used to tell me about the great Nebraska-Oklahoma games on Thanksgiving weekend. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, let's look at Nebraska, and you're like, whoa. Locally can work for you and against you because maybe you live in a household where the mom and dad are alums and you had a sister and brother that went to Nebraska, or they're thinking about going to Nebraska, but also you're around it all the time. And, for 7-8 years, it hasn't been always positive. So sometimes that weighs on you as a local kid of, yeah, I'm a Nebraska fan, but my God, man, there's just so much turmoil and discussion about them. I got to get away from it. Some people enjoy it. See, that just keeps adding another layer to how important it is for Nebraska to get this to pop sooner than later. So you're winning. So there's more of a positive conversation in state or out of state about Nebraska. And players start going, oh, yeah, I watched the head coach. I watched that game. When you went into Columbus, man, as a 26-point underdog and you almost upset them, man, that was cool. So, I don't know. I think it's a good pickup for Nebraska. I wonder as now we're halfway through June. This is a big month for Nebraska. They're up to 11 in the class of 25. It's only their third. If we start to see some movement after this big weekend, another big weekend, if between now and the end of the month is when Nebraska adds 4, 5, maybe 6 that have been here in June or have been here recently. But again, it's a good pickup. It's a good pickup in the state of Texas, and linemen that are built like him that can be built bigger. That's a win-win situation. And in a position where I'm pretty confident if that guy stays there, his MO is developing dudes.
Yep. Yeah. And you already have not only a sample size of that with Terrence Knight and also his connection to the NFL, but just the small sample size of a year ago of not only being able to develop guys, but getting freshmen involved early on too. With the Christian Jones visit, I only have one question I want to throw your way, because if you're following that, he's going to go this weekend to Oklahoma. He did hint that there's no timetable. He could even possibly visit Wisconsin in the fall. So no real timetable, but I did find it interesting. They did essentially a 20-man golf bonding experience as part of the official visit. If you're Rob Dvorak or anybody that is golfing with Christian Jones, everything on the green's a gimme, right? If it's Christian Jones, you're like, yeah, oh yeah, you're good, man. You're good. I'm like,
no.
You're setting for a record right now, buddy.
No. It's all about competition.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to be like, oh, hey, yeah.
You give me a couple extra breakfast balls, though?
Just pick it up. No. It's about competition. That kid loves competition. Okay. I would be disappointed if I went on a visit and my potential position coach is like, that 30-foot putt, just pick it up.
Yeah, you
win the hole. You get a skin on this hole. I'd be like, no. I'm gonna putt this in. Yeah.
Are they playing for skins in these events? Is that frowned upon? Does the NSAA step in on that? I don't know.
It's part
I
of
can't
the
make that public,
it's
right?
part of it's part. Hey, anything is fair game in NIL. Look how
That's
Tennessee is handling the Jello shots.
Yeah.
Tennessee fans are paying $10 per Jello shot. 5 goes to their NIL. 5
Yeah.
goes to Rocco's.
I love that, by the way.
In NIL, anything is fair game. I do think this. I like the spot Nebraska's in with Christian, but it's not a slam dunk. And I think Christian, with his eyeballs and his gut, has to see something before he says yes. Good vibe, but I gotta see if that good vibe that has been developing for a few months, what that equates to before I join the Fun Vibe Club.
And you're talking what we would see come end of August into September.
Yes.
Okay.
That's it. That's my read. I could be wrong. He could wake up today and go, little GBR. But I think there are more Christian Jones out there in the recruiting class of 25 that like Nebraska, but they want to see if this is real. And if it is real, then they're going to scramble to get signed up.
Yeah.
Hey, a quick question here? Now we got Evan Bland. A lot of people come to the College World Series.
They do.
Whether they be now that Taylor Martinez has won the UFL MVP and now the championship.
Will Taylor be there today?
Titletown. The Beef won last year.
I don't know. I believe the graphic is already set that says former Nebraska quarterback from about 15 years ago, Taylor Martinez, in attendance. I think that graphic has already been made. There's a lot of celebrities that show up. I say this every year because we live in Omaha, and in particular, we're lucky enough at 1620 to be involved in the broadcast, so you get consumed in it for a week, and so maybe you're not able to enjoy it like a fan from the fan experience. Is you don't realize how big a deal this is if you live in Omaha. You kind of do, but maybe not to the outsiders who look at coming to the College World Series in our great city as a bucket list item. And the amount of people that kind of sneak in here that we would consider celebrities. So did you guys know that Matt Leinart was in attendance yesterday?
I did not.
So Matt Leinart, it's on his bucket list. He brought his family to the College World Series yesterday.
Wow.
Now, here's something else that is on a bucket list. And it happens that his favorite team is here. Did you guys hear our conversation with Eric Church last night?
I didn't hear the broadcast, so no, I did not hear this.
So Chief, the great country star, Eric Church, is from the state of North Carolina, and he is a diehard Tar Heel. When we were talking to Scott Forbes, the head coach of the Tar Heels last week, I asked him about would he be able to recruit Eric Church to get him here, and he said in his North Carolina accent, we're going to try as hard as we can. Well, last night, Eric Church was in Omaha at the College World Series, and Connor talked to him. So you never know who is going to end up at the College World Series. I mean, look at so Peyton Manning was back again. Yep. I don't think he was there last night, but his son Marshall has been playing in the Slump Buster.
Oh, nice. So he's here.
Yeah, so he's here. It's the third time he's been to the College World Series. And remember, his dad, Archie, played in the College World Series with Ole Miss back in 1969. The governor of the state of Florida, Ron DeSantis, has been here in Omaha. And you should have seen the security detail for the governor of Florida, who is more than the governor of Florida, former presidential candidate. I don't know how many people can fit in those suites. Because they don't let me, get down to that level. But there must have been, I would say, 15 to 20 security guards for the governor of Florida.
Yeah, you probably got your Secret Service detail.
Who was at the game, and in his suite was J.D. Drew from Florida State.
Nice.
Who was watching the game. Trot
they did. I saw J.D. Drew. They did show an image of him, yes.
So Trot Nixon's son is playing here in the College World Series as well. So he was he was here, and then we could reminisce about the Red Sox won the World Series so that a movie could be created, and that's the most important takeaway from the 2004 baseball season is that Jimmy Fallon had a lead role in a movie.
And Jimmy Edmonds had an amazing catch that broke my heart in Game 6.
And Drew Barrymore, yes. We will all what better movie though? Trouble with the Curve or Fever Pitch?
Which one's Trouble with the Curve?
Clint Eastwood as the scout.
Oh. I don't know why you guys crush that.
I like Summer Catch.
Oh,
I don't
hate Trouble with the Curve as much as Connor does.
I'm out of this because I completely blanked on Summer Catch on Saturday, and a lot of people are very familiar with Freddie's work in that movie, and they also have access to X. So I'm out of these discussions, but Fever Pitch, I would take Trouble with the Curve.
Okay.
All
Fever
right.
Pitch was
Brian
fine.
Dennehy's best work, by the way.
Oh my gosh, that's right. He was the coach in Summer Catch.
Great job. Kurt Gowdy should have won.
Calvin on the stream reminded us that it's Adrian, not Taylor. Yes, that's part of the bit because ESPN didn't know that either.
1620, the sarcasm.
They had Adrian with the Taylor graphic. If you know, you know. That's right. The guy who knows, Evan Bland, Omaha World Herald. He's covering the College World Series. We'll get his thoughts on what he's seen, what he anticipates today and tonight. And also, if we got time, we'll get some Husker football in there with Evan. He's up next here on Mornings with Sharp and Handley, 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Hot, humid, and windy conditions on tap for Monday. Expect partly sunny skies throughout the day with south winds gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. Expect highs around 90 with feels-like temperatures in the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. The earlier crash, I-80 westbound approaching 72nd Street, has traffic backed up to 24th right now. You will have to stay right to get through this accident as the two left lanes are currently blocked. Dodge eastbound slow between 192nd and 137th. I-480 northbound slowing down between I-80 and Leavenworth. I-80 eastbound heavier traffic between I-680 and 60th. And JFK northbound morning traffic picking up between Chandler and L Street. The rain is coming down. Please stay safe and wear that seatbelt. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
Lotto America from the Nebraska Lottery is here. It only costs $1 to play, features a starting jackpot of $2 million, and has drawings every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Play today. Lotto America top prize odds, 1 in 26 million.
Hey, you hear that? That's the sound of loose change in your pocket reminding you to buy a 99-cent medium fountain drink from Casey's. So the next time you hear this, you already know where to go. 99-cent medium fountain drinks. It's not crazy. It's Casey's.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000, 800-761-0000.
Host is roasting every morning. At Host Coffee Services, every cup of coffee served comes with a promise of quality, innovation, and a dash of fun, ensuring your workday is as delightful as your coffee break. Call Host Coffee Services today.
Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Funplex has asked me to give you a first-hand account of the all-new for 2024 Wipeout attraction.
Okay, hit it.
We're starting up. Spinning a little now. Whoa, a lot.
The centrifugal force is starting to stretch my face.
Holy this thing's fast.
Whoa, it's tilting. We have tilting. Woohoo, this is awesome. You got to try this. Get your tickets now at fun-plex.com.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Back at it today at the Chuck. More college baseball. You've got an elimination game between Florida and NC State. Then tonight's winner's bracket game will be Kentucky, Texas A&M. Tennessee now just one game away from the championship series. They play on Wednesday. And we've got more happening to see if one of Kentucky or A&M can join them on the other side of that bracket in the driver's seat as well. So we welcome in Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald, who has had a front row seat to it all so far. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Morning, guys. How's it going?
Good. And I asked Gary the same thing. You know it's Monday, right? Have you lost track of the hours, the days, and where you are? You still pretty much dialed in?
You know, I wouldn't go so far as to say I have a case of the Mondays, because this is not the typical, Monday vibes. But yeah, I think so. Like, I got to Saturday and it was just like, I mean, days of the week are sort of irrelevant. And like, it's kind of funny. Like, sometimes as a writer, like, I'll put in a day and really have no idea why I put in that day. And it might've been totally different. I think that's just, being locked into the tournament and kind of, it's like college baseball's version of being at a casino. Like, you have no idea the time or the day or whatever. You're just there and they want you there. And I suppose that's a good thing.
Hey,
go ahead, Nick.
I'm sorry, but I did want to mention the way this thing started out, what we've been talking about leading up to the College World Series. I don't think there was any surprise that we had the tightly contested games that we've seen. It. Gary brought this up earlier too. You also get the emotional endings of these games where you get a flair for the dramatics. And I know we saw a little bit of this last year too when we got the College World Series started off. But when you see the way that those first 4 games especially played out, it was just pretty much on script to what we've essentially seen this entire college baseball season with these teams in the field.
For sure. I mean, we kind of have said for many weeks now that, like, the top of college baseball there's as much parity as ever. Now, like, you expand that to the sport and there's a hierarchy to it. And we're seeing that play out now. And yeah, so like all the resources that these programs put into it, the recruiting that goes into it, everything else, like, you would expect that these games would have gone the way that they did. And like, that's kind of how we framed it last week, was not necessarily who's the favorite, but who's the underdog. Is it, the 3 seed Florida that was in the final last year that has the highest incoming Major League Baseball draft prospect? Like, that's the that's the team that's the underdog, or maybe Kentucky that's never been here that ran away with the SEC for most of the year. Like, that's the team that's the little guy. So it's absolutely played out that way. There's been a ton of really close games. Really yesterday, the early game was sort of, I suppose, the exception. But it's a testament to where the game is right now, to I think how high of a level the game's being played. And I thought Tony Vitello, the Tennessee coach, had a good answer last night when he was asked, okay, you guys are 2-0 in Omaha for the first time. What's different about this team? He's like, I don't know. It's kind of chaos. Like, you get to this point and the margins of difference between these teams are so thin that it just comes down to one little play here or there, or one pitch. And so here they are. But, I think if you simulated this field 1,000 times, you get, a whole bunch of different results. So we're just sort of seeing one example of it, and it's making for some good theater.
That's a great point, Evan, because I look at Brian O'Connor. We like Virginia. Virginia seems they roll into town and they're playing their best baseball, but it's 2 straight years they've gone 2 in the queue. And it was pretty emotional yesterday for that Virginia team. After the game, whether it be Brian O'Connor, who we've all kind of gotten to know from his time here in the 90s, to him just being a regular visitor, to Jay Woolfolk, his starting pitcher, who really broke down talking about this season. Why doesn't the best team in college baseball, if they make it to Omaha, win in Omaha?
I mean, I think some of it's just the nature of the sport, where it's not football where you've got the one game, and if you have the best lines, you're in a great spot. It's not basketball where you can go to the same guy or two. I mean, it's double elimination, and it's baseball. I mean, LSU last year had the best roster in the sport, and they lost a game in Omaha and had to battle their way back because, they had the best pitcher that the college game has seen in many years in Paul Skeens, but you have to figure out what you do after you put your best foot forward as well. So I think that's a lot of it. I kind of want to write something later this week about the curse of the number 1 seed and what goes into that. Having the number 1 not won since Miami in '99, and the Tennessee folks and Tony Vitello seem to think social media plays a part in that, and maybe it does. But I think a lot of it's just the randomness too of the sport, knowing that you're going to have to put your best foot forward in more than just the one game. So I don't know if it's like pressure gets to somebody. I think a lot of it's just parity in the sport too. Like, if I don't think it would have been shocking to see Tennessee go 0-2, not because Tennessee's vulnerable or weak or whatever, but just because there are a whole bunch of really good teams here. So I look at Virginia and what they did in Omaha, not as a failure, but like as a testament to, like, if that team can't win a game in Omaha, I mean, what a loaded field there is. So I know that the standard for success is different for every program, and Virginia had higher hopes than what happened. But I think just realistically, you play out the process, you get here, you have a heck of a season. A couple games didn't go your way in tight affairs, and that's just kind of how it goes.
I'm not going to pretend that I know enough about NC State to say if what they're feeling going into this game, but I feel like we've seen a lot more with Florida because, of course, they were in Nebraska's regional. We saw what Florida has battled all throughout the year. Is there a sense that obviously you're disappointed, but you get the day to flush it, and now you're going into another situation where you're trying to keep your season alive, that Florida, in a sense, has been kind of used to this, that they barely make it in the NCAA tournament, so they're kind of dealing with the house money right now, that maybe that puts them in, from a mental standpoint, in a better position today?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they've gone through this. They haven't been played a home game, I think, in like 6 weeks or something. So they're just kind of used to having their backs against the wall, doing their thing. They've got Caglianone on the mound today. So that's advantage Gators, you would think, for sure. And we're kind of getting to that point now in the College World Series where most of your aces have thrown. And now this is that stretch of the event where you're going to have higher scoring games. You're going to, probably have a couple slugfests in there. And I like Florida's chances in that sort of situation. I mean, they have a bunch of big boppers, obviously with Jack at the top. But I mean, it feels like this is sort of that point where Florida could maybe make a run and win a couple of games and their bats get going, and some of their younger prospects who maybe haven't had great seasons but are like former top 100 guys, come out and shove and go, etch their names into Gators lore. But yeah, it kind of feels that way. I think NC State sort of shot their shot with Sam Highfill as their ace. With all that said, maybe they probably come out and they're going to come out swinging today, but who knows? But I do think the experience that Florida's had in Omaha recently as well probably plays to their advantage. And then you look at the SEC heads up against the ACC in this event the last few days. It's definitely been advantage SEC as well. So my leaning would be that the Gators would be probably game for this one. But again, like the margins are so slim that I don't think any result would necessarily shock us.
Evan Bland of the World Herald joining us. There's another aspect of the season that we've had in college baseball where 31 teams hit 100 or more home runs. Between 2011 and 2016, there were 0 Division I teams that hit 100 or more home runs in a season. And I look locally, and then I look at the whole part of college baseball, and I think we're all in agreement. College baseball is in a really good spot right now. Even though there's a gap between the top conferences and the lower conferences, I think the sport as a whole is in a great spot. But home runs are up. The ballpark in Omaha plays like a natural ballpark nowadays. Do you think, Evan, that the caretakers will go, we got to adjust something because we've seen the bats and the balls have been changed when we get a little bit worried about too much offense or not enough offense? Do you think now we're at a point where you just let it roll and this is what baseball is and we don't need to tinker with anything?
I do. I do think it's in a good spot. Isn't it interesting, though? Because, like, you look at the power numbers, and I've done some of that research too, Gary, where, I mean, just the number of teams that are hitting 100 or more bombs is way up from what it was, but yet it doesn't feel like the late 90s gorilla ball where you're getting these softball scores and it's just sort of unsightly. Like, I think it's just a reflection of a whole bunch of different things just power in the game. Guys are older. The training is better. The scouting, the video scouting is better. So you're leading to, I think, hitters that are more prepared in that way. And the pitching on the other side is as good as it's been, with guys throwing mid-90s heat. And I think that's adding to some of the juice with some of these balls going out. You talk to coaches kind of around the game, and they would say, I mean, look, you'd probably be naive to think that there hasn't been some sort of a ball tweak of some kind, even though the NCAA insists that there hasn't been. I think the numbers would tell you that something has had to go on. So it feels like it's sort of a confluence of a number of different circumstances. Obviously, the draft being shorter has kept more quality hitters in college. You're seeing transfers from lower levels develop there and then come to the D1 stage and really dominate with the sticks too. So I think it's a bunch of different stuff, but it feels like it's a very fan-friendly product right now, where you're seeing pitchers duels, when you think you might. You're seeing some slugfests, but I think especially at this stage where Schwab Field does play a little bigger, it really levels things out even a little bit more, where you're not seeing some of the power numbers that you saw in regionals and super regionals, in part because of the ballpark dimensions. So, if I'm an NCAA leader, I'm feeling really good about the game. You have record attendance, TV numbers are up, people are paying attention, they want to be witnesses to what's going on. So I think they found a really strong balance, and whether that's something you can credit the NCAA with, or just sort of how things have gone because of circumstances in college athletics and at the major league level, I think it's in a really good spot.
And I'm with you. But I also think when you look at a guy like Christian Moore, what he did on Friday night, you hit for the cycle. We see these players. We saw it last year too, but you see all these draftable prospects. There's that part of the game that it's more well documented than I think it's ever been before. I mean, it wasn't as if they didn't talk about these guys are going to be going on to Major League Baseball, but where you're seeing a lot of that path of the College World Series, that the next stop, you're seeing guys already in the big leagues. And then you look into, I've embraced this a while back, and I used to be very old school and I would resist this, but the overall emotion that is actually encouraged now by head coaches of all these programs of being able to keep it within the rails where you're celebrating with your team as opposed to directing it at the other team. But the emotion that these guys show in certain at-bats on the mound, coming off the mound after a big strikeout, after a nice defensive play, I feel like that is more normal. It's more accepted. And I think that's gone over really well, Evan.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, you've seen guys come off shirtless after winning. You're seeing, fist pumps from catchers after a big strikeout. You're seeing all kinds of demonstrative celebrations. I mean, heck, just the way with which batters toss their bats aside after drawing a big walk, like that's even, amped up from what it was. And so I think there's a recognition that like you want the game to be more exciting, that you have younger players that are on a big stage in big moments. And like, there's an acknowledgement that, let them have fun. Let them be quirky with some of the props that they have in their dugouts and how they stack their hats and have, plush Spider-Man dolls on their shoulders and whatever. Like, it's fun. I think people can relate to that. They can connect with that. It feels, very kind of like what you would see at a youth tournament, which I think is a positive thing. But like to your other point as well, like the quality of the product is really high right now, where you're seeing guys play in Omaha and within like a year or two, they're major league baseball hitters or pitchers. And like, that's just a testament to the development that's going on at the college game right now, how much programs are investing in that relative to even 10 years ago. I mean, it's way more. In a lot of ways, college baseball is the minor leagues now. I mean, that's just kind of how it's gone. So I think you combine all that with the fact that there are, a lot of marketable college baseball stars now. That's been a kind of a problem, I think, in some of the other major sports, especially like college basketball. It's hard to know year to year who's there. In baseball, I think there are a lot of guys that people can point to and say, yeah, I want to go watch that guy. I want to watch Jack Caglione. I want to watch Vance Honeycutt or whomever shove and go at it. So I think from that respect, college baseball is in a really good spot too.
I got to slip in a football question, because as we are in the middle of June and before you know it, camp will be here, because we all get done with the College World Series and we go, whoa, we'll see you in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Media Days here shortly. What do you think? Because this is a popular topic as we look at the pecking order at quarterback. What do you think the ideal role for Heinrich Haarberg will be if he's not the starter in 2024?
Well, I think there's still a good chance that he'll be the number 2 quarterback. And as we know, the number 2 quarterback at Nebraska usually plays meaningful snaps at some point. So I think that's still a strong possibility for him. And, I think you can get a little creative with how you use him. It'll be really interesting to see what, Nebraska's offensive staff decides to do with Heinrich, especially if Raiola really gets rolling out of the gate. I mean, can Heinrich be sort of a change of pace wildcat kind of guy? Can he be kind of an H-back who could be a threat to catch a pass like we saw in the opener at Minnesota last year? Could he have some other sort of role where his athleticism and his knowledge of the offense and all that comes into play? I think so. I think especially in a group where, Matt Rule's made it pretty clear they want this to be an offense of positionless players. Well, Haarberg seems to be exhibit A for that. Someone, again, who physically has everything that you could want from a playmaker, who has the knowledge, who's, could also still, of course, pass and be a threat in that way. I think he's a really versatile piece who also serves as if at worst, an experienced safety net behind a true freshman. So, in this era when a lot of quarterbacks would transfer and look for that guaranteed starting job, I think his willingness to stay, first of all, speaks to, I think, his character and what he believes in this program, but also maybe it's an acknowledgement that he will have a role in this offense, even if it's not as sort of that standard starting quarterback that we saw from him last year.
Evan Bland of the Omaha World Herald. Evan, great stuff as always. See you down there at the ballpark. Appreciate you coming on, my man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
It's a great question, Gary. When we come back, the thought was out there, and I think it was maybe when we were talking to Sip, of that role for Heinrich Haarberg, and I've heard a certain comparison made that I'm curious if it's just the safe thing to bring up when it comes to Heinrich, or if there could be something there. We are going to talk to Jacob Bigalow, kicking off the 9 o'clock hour as well. Get back a little bit into some Nebraska football conversation before we get out of here as we continue. It's Morning with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
It's going to be another sizzling hot summer. Stay cool with 35% off new Champion windows. Don't burn your money on high energy bills. Get new energy efficient windows from Champion. 35% off. Plus, get an extra $100 off every window you replace. The more you buy, the more you save. We help you choose the best design options for your home. We then build your project in our very own factory. Our install team manages your project every step of the way, and it's all backed by our lifetime guarantee. Plus, we're giving away the chance to win a $50,000 home makeover. Enter online today. Turn your house into your dream home with more livable space in a new Champion sunroom, or enhance your curb appeal with new siding. Now 35% off. Don't wait. This sale won't last long. 35% off windows, sunrooms, and siding. Plus, get an extra $100 off every window you replace. Call 877-GO-CHAMPION or visit championsavenow.com to schedule a free in-home estimate today. All discounts apply to our regular prices. Select styles apply. Minimum purchase required. Cannot be combined with other advertised offers. See store or website for details.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
Now your ideas don't have to wait. Now they have everything they need to come to life. Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas, loves expanding your business, evolving your passions. We push what technology can do, so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres? ¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes,
The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here, and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Our next guest, Jacob Bigalow, coming up in about 5 minutes. I'll have to ask him this one, but I don't know, boys. Are you there tonight with the NBA Finals of don't let Luka and Dallas grab one in Boston?
It's over.
I kind of think so too. I'm not there yet. I don't know. Sharpie, are you curious about this one with a little bit of, hey, you better put him away tonight. Otherwise, they go back to Dallas, and then it's Game 7 in Boston. Come back of the century.
No. Good job, Nick. You're a good hype man.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna happen. This is a big night for Jason Tatum.
Mm-hmm.
So Boston's got a chance to raise a banner on their home floor. They have a chance to close out this series, in a gentleman's sweep. But if Jason Tatum is considered the best American-born basketball player right now, this would be the night to prove it.
Yeah.
Like this seems to be, if Boston's going to win and Tatum's going to, get his flowers, tonight's the game that on his own, he just goes crazy and he closes this out.
Yeah. Celtics legacy, all that's got to be tonight. Do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I want you guys to know this is a true form because you guys are both on vacation. When I tried to also sell the Timberwolves being down, don't let them win tonight. Otherwise, and the Wolves start having some fun. And all of a sudden they put all that pressure back on. And here we go. And it didn't happen, obviously. So I just, I bring up the scenario.
Basketball's over tonight. Hockey's over tomorrow.
Yeah. I was definitely not surprised Edmonton got one. I'll admit I was a little surprised that Dallas got one. But with no Kristaps Porzingis and how big he's been in the finals, maybe it shouldn't have been that big of a shock. Maybe the deficit was. But, yeah, I'm still thinking Florida's just they're a damn good team. That thing is going to be over, but you knew Edmonton was going to at least get one. I'm with you guys. I think the C's wrap it up tonight. And I think this environment, especially with Kyrie, and he's been a little bit more open about how going back to Boston impacts him, that they're going to be out for blood tonight. Because if that thing comes back there in a Game 7, potentially, it would be a more uneasy crowd. Tonight, I think it's just going to be a party. And they're going to be after Kyrie, as they have been. It'll be good. It'll be good.
They'll be watching baseball by about 8:39. That's how little I think this game is going to be tonight.
Guys, I'm trying
to enjoy some College World Series.
No, it's okay. Embrace gentlemen's sweeps.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pump this thing up.
1 through 3, and win Game 5, and we move on.
That exactly.
Gary, after we talked to Jake, but I do want to get back to the question you left us with, Evan, of the Heinrich Harbig rule, because there's one player that people like to throw out there like, oh, yeah, he'll be this guy. And at first I'm thinking it's just kind of a lazy comparison because it's all we have to go off of. But I do think there could be something to that. We're going to talk to Jacob Bigalow, get his thoughts on all things, some hoops, life, softball, who knows, College World Series, and his birthday, too, as Jacob, our regular Monday guy, joins us right after this.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Pyramid Roofing Time-Saving Traffic Center. Still seeing delays I-80 westbound near 72nd from that earlier accident. It has traffic backed up right now back to 13th Street. That morning Dodge eastbound traffic still pretty slow right now between 168th and 156th. And I-80 eastbound slowing down right now between I-680 and 72nd. The roads are still slick from the rain that came through this morning. Just proceed cautiously, stay safe, and wear that seatbelt. Have a great rest of your Monday. I'm Peter Krenzer.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
We are excited to announce the grand opening of Saul's Jewelry and Loan's new downtown location. It's a Saul's shopping experience like you've never seen. Amazing jewelry finds at our famous best-in-town prices. Tools, bikes, guitars. 22nd and Hardy, downtown Omaha, Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Funplex asked an AI assistant where you find ultimate summer fun. And, well...
Funplex. Nebraska's largest water park and rides, now with the brand new spinning, tilting Wipeout. Tasty treats, special events, private cabanas, and more. Probability of unforgettable fun, 100%. Funplex is the best choice for an all-in-one day of summer excitement.
So, see you at Funplex then?
I am a language model.
Yeah, fair enough. Get your human tickets at fun-plex.com. Let's go!
For the second year, the Nebraska Lottery's NASCAR Powerball Playoff promotion has roared into our state, and the excitement is throttling up. Until June 24th, buy a Powerball ticket with Power Play and Double Play. Enter the voucher number, and you could be one of 15 Nebraska winners of $1,000 and the chance to win a VIP trip to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship weekend, plus a shot at $1 million. Enter today. Powerball top prize odds 1 in 292 million.
Is your concrete cracked or in? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage, and it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
If you need bold banners to boost your business, but you're on a budget, think Staples. Because now at Staples, you can save up to $50 on your print purchase. From posters and flyers to signs and menus, Staples can print anything you need to move your business forward. And with Staples Print Perfect Guarantee, it's done right or it's printed again free. Plus, same-day service is available on hundreds of items if you order by noon. Get it printed right at Staples. And now get up to $50 off your print purchase. And 76, visit staples.com/print for details.
I'm Dave Osted. And I'm Ryan Osted. Every golfer will get value from being custom fit. The truth is, the higher handicappers will get more value from being custom fit than the low handicappers.
It's changed so much since my dad started the business in 1963. We now have hundreds of thousands of dollars in technology, and we know exactly what the spin rate is, what the launch angle is. We encourage you to bring your current clubs in now, and we can compare it. And guys walk out of the store knowing that the purchase they just made is going to give them 21 more yards off the tee box. Play better, have fun, and shop Osted's.
Are Nebraska craft beers and ciders important to you? Whether you just love Nebraska brewed beers and ciders or you're a full-fledged craft brewery, there are benefits to membership for anyone with the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild. Their sole mission is to foster and help grow the Nebraska-centric brewing community. Become a member today at nebraska.beer and help advance the craft beer and cider industry in the state of Nebraska. Find out more about the Nebraska Craft Brewers Guild at nebraska.beer.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Now be sure to join the VIP Club. Sign up for 1620 The Email. You'll be the first to know all the exciting content that's happening on 1620 The Zone, including sports, news, contests, promotions, and more. Sign up today at 1620thezone.com. Jacob Bigalow joining us here on the 42-degree hotline as he does every Monday. And we can all say, happy birthday, Jacob. How are you, my man?
Good. No, I had a nice weekend down at the World Series, and then got to ring in 27 over the weekend. So it was a good.
I remember that year.
It was a good weekend. So I'm in a good mood.
Who are you pulling for in the CWS? And did you stay away from the Florida dugout?
I did stay away from the Florida dugout. Sure. Little 10 p.m. first pitch gave a whole new meaning to Midnight Yell for some A&M fans. That was little see something new. See something new every day at the Old College World Series. But I can't say I haven't latched onto a team. I went to 2 games. I got to see the Kentucky walk-off homer, and there are a lot of Kentucky people here. That was all. Felt like it was all Big Blue Nation in that building on Saturday afternoon. And then there's also a lot of Tennessee people here as well. The SEC fan bases have shown up big time from what I've seen so far.
So you've not adopted the cardiac cats?
I have not. I mean, I could, they're a candidate. I kind of, I thought I was going to pick whoever won that Kentucky NC State game and latch on to them. So that would mean I would, latch on with the Cardiac Cats. But, I've just been enjoying the baseball. The College World Series is more fun when the baseball is the story and the product on the field is what has people talking, and you don't have to, take ancillary or secondary things and put them into the spotlight when, the baseball tournament, the baseball event has baseball that's, worth talking about.
Is that a college basketball thing, or is it because you're not a fan of the Kentucky Wildcat basketball program and that just bleeds into your baseball fandom?
No,
I'm just checking.
I'm not anti-UK by any means. I mean, my one thing with Kentucky is that when you tell people who don't know that Rupp Arena is connected to a mall, that it's connected to a mall, that's the fun way to surprise some people. But no, other than that, I have no
crossroads with an arena.
No previous vendettas or vitriol toward Kentucky athletics.
Hey, did you get on the Ferris wheel?
I have not. I did not get over to the Ferris wheel quite yet. It is definitely in a better spot.
Yeah,
I will say that.
Yeah, but there's something that they've messed it completely up.
How so, Gary?
It closes at 6:30.
Ooh. Yeah.
What?
Then it's not
Father's Day yesterday. Can you imagine the amount of fathers out there that would be able to bond with their kids when they get stuck at the top of an amusement park ride?
Yeah.
Like, just think about what goes into the bonding between father, son, father, daughter, when you are on a ride like the Ferris wheel. The ups and the downs, the excitement, being scared, having fun, the exhilaration. But yet the NCAA has found a way to dislike that interaction between father, son, and daughter because they are shutting down the Ferris wheel at 6:30 at night. Do they not understand some of the best moments in College World Series history when the Ferris wheel has been here have happened well after 11 o'clock?
They must not. I mean, this is the same organization. This is the same organization that, last year there was a 80-minute delay when the sun was out, famously, in one of these games last year. The NCAA out on family. They don't want, you can have a catch with your dad, but what about having a Ferris wheel ride? That's a shame to hear that they're shutting that down that early. I don't think that makes any sense, but what do I know?
Hey, I was trying to add some type of intrigue to Game 5 tonight. Any intrigue? Is there? Are you a little nervous at all, or is this? It's all good tonight. It's
kind of champagne.
The C's get it done tonight.
Do you have a cigar?
I mean, I'm an eternal sports pessimist. So I mean, I'll never be on full cruise control. That'll never be me. I mean, I didn't watch a second of Game 4. I had some other stuff going on. So glad that I missed that whole ordeal on Friday night. But I'm an eternal sports pessimist. So I'll be a little uneasy tonight. We'll see how Luka starts off, because I think if he he's going to be taking the shots, but if they're going in early, that'll tell me how to feel about the Mavs. And this could be a huge moment for Jason Tatum tonight. I mean, the chance to close it out at home, and he'll be at the center of discourse once this series comes to an end, one way or another. So could be a pretty big moment for him tonight.
Jacob,
what? Hey, go ahead, Jimmy.
Jacob,
no.
You should. You two should watch the game together tonight because you guys are the same fan.
Hey, so why is there? We were just touching on it before we brought you on, and I said this is like the Jason Tatum game. Like, he just takes over home floor, they win a title, and maybe Tatum doesn't win the MVP, but your last memory of this year is Jason Tatum dominated Dallas in the Garden to win Game 5. Why is there so much discourse over Jason Tatum in the game of basketball?
Because when it's not, because even when he's putting up numbers, it's not the most aesthetically pleasing. He's kind of a tough watch, and combine that with a fairly boring personality, and it kind of, unless you're a Celtics fan, I don't think you're going to be going out of your way to, watch Jason Tatum. I mean, I had the realization recently of just how long I've been watching him play basketball, and he's still, just 26 years old, and, who knows how much longer, he'll be, playing in the league. But, his game has not evolved much. It's not the most pleasing to watch. He loves off balance, fall away, sidestep threes that won't go in, and awkward, mid range game. That's kind of why it's not the best watch, and then he's kind of boring. So yeah.
Talking to Jacob Bigalow here on Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone. Gary brought this up last week after we found out that Aaron Eulis will indeed be ready to play and eligible to play this year. So you got 2 point guards. It's very tough to name the starting lineup or what you would perceive to be the definitive starters outside of a couple of guys. Jacob, is that a good thing, or is there a problem with that at all, in your opinion?
I think I think it can be a little bit of both, but I would lean toward it's not an issue. I think this team's they've got options. I would tend to, give Raleigh Worcester the nod at the point guard spot, looking at his body of work. Obviously Aaron Eulis has been in the program for a season, running the scout team, and, he'll, has more knowledge of, how Fred Hoiberg goes about his business right now. But I mean, 1 through 5, I think there are plenty of options. And, there'll be plenty of lineups to play with. That's what these summer workouts are for. And, early season, when they, come back for the start of school, they'll have plenty of, lineups to tinker with, figure out what works best for them. And, Fred's been pretty vocal about how he's, willing to adjust to his personnel and what he thinks will work best. So I'm interested to see how it works out.
What are the expectations of him? After, it's not like he was just here last year. He was actually, it basically was a redshirt season. So he ran the offense. He was around him every day. Fred didn't get rid of him. He kept him around. So he, wasn't a disruptor in the locker room. But here's a guy that came from Iowa that played at Iowa. Maybe he doesn't start, but he'd like to play. And he's been here for a year, and now he's cleared. What do you think will be how they will utilize him, and what the expectations should be for him?
It's tough to say what the expectations will be, but he'll play. He'll have a role. He'll either be your starting point guard day one, or he'll be giving guys a rest coming in off the bench. I think. He's got Big Ten experience, and his stats didn't jump off the page. Some of his film at Iowa isn't the most awe-inspiring, but he's got the reps, he's got the experience, and he's played in the conference, and he has knowledge of the conference, knowledge of the program. I think he'll be a piece. He'll have a role. It's tough to say what that'll be right now, but I think he'll definitely be a part of the picture one way or another.
If I'm looking at the bigs, the big that you're most excited as a whole, offensively, defensively, are you looking at either a Braxton Mia, are you looking at a Berke, or Andrew Morgan?
I think I'm the most, I don't know about excited, but I'm the most intrigued.
Intrigued is fine.
I think I'm intrigued by Mia. Fred, during his radio show last week, said that he had I think it was a thumb. He had a bad thumb last year, and that, played a role in, his minutes going down, toward the end of the season. But I think his frame, the athleticism he has, he's either going to be, catching lobs or, going up at the rim. He's not going to be doing much outside of the paint. But I think what he could bring, defensively for Nebraska, when he was on the court last year at Washington, teams were, I think around 55% at the rim when he was on the court. When he was off the court at Washington, teams were in the mid-60s, percentage-wise, at the rim. He's a difference maker, and whether they park him in, drop coverage, like we see with another big man at a certain local team. Not saying they're comparable, but I'm saying schematically, you could see what you could see similar, defensive, game plan with him, when he's on the court. I think there's a lot to like, and it'll be different from most centers Nebraska's had for quite a while.
Game tonight for softball?
Yes. We have a 6:15 game. It is rain out makeup week this week, so we are at 6:15, and we have the one church team in the league this evening. We will be rather.
So does that make you guys the convicts?
It might be. We'll be fairly shorthanded. We're going to be down a couple guys this evening, but the last time we were down a couple guys, it went better than we thought it would. So we'll see how it goes. Last game of the regular season tonight, and hopefully, we can finish on a strong note before tournament time.
Is the trash talk going to be amped up a little bit when you're playing the church team? See if you can rattle some cages.
Nah, I don't know about that. I might have wasted all my trash talking on the team that drew 13 walks against us. I was being pretty vocal. Multiple grown men wearing baseball pants, not swinging bats to draw walks in slow pitch softball. I was pretty vocal out there in right field. So I may have used all my chirps on those guys a couple weeks ago, but we'll see how it goes.
All right, my man. Good luck tonight. We're always rooting for you guys, even as we're in the haze of the College World Series. We're always thinking of that softball team in Lincoln.
Well, we appreciate that. Hopefully, we can put on a better performance tonight than Virginia did in their 2 games here. That's all.
Whoa, the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers
left.
Hold on here. The Cavaliers just caught a stray from a Lincoln softball league. Wow.
I mean, hey, we've had more support at our slow pitch softball league games than they've had in Omaha any of the years they've been here. So that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Did you lose money on Virginia?
Do you have something against BOC?
No, I may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I wouldn't put money on Virginia baseball. I'm not that big of a fool. So.
Wow. Okay. All right, buddy. Well, onward and upward.
Okay. To be fair here, your softball team has won more games in the state of Nebraska this year than Virginia has.
Come on. Now you guys are just piling on.
Be fair.
I think we have as many wins on the year as Virginia does in their last couple CWS appearances combined. Actually, nice. I think it's the last four. They've won twice. So I think we have as many wins this year as they have in their last few CWS appearances.
Man, we'll never have BOC on the station again.
There goes your chances of ever working for Tony Bennett.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, real shame there. Bennett ball, catch the fever. I love basketball games in the 40s as much as I love 0-2 baseball teams. So there goes my shot. My apologies.
All right, man. Bye, Jacob.
Bye, guys. Have a good rest of the week.
Jeez, that church team doesn't know what they're in for.
This is like Bulwark when he just goes off in the debate and everyone's like, damn.
I think that would have been hilarious. We've all seen the slow pitch softball teams that sport the pants and they really get after it. They take it serious. I've seen some that actually take soft toss before games, which I thought was very, very funny. Can you imagine though how serious they take it? You got little Jacob Bigalow out there in right field just talking mad trash to them. Oh God, I wish I was there for that one.
Oh, I'd be quaking in my boots if Jacob was talking trash to me. I look at him and go, "Oh man, look away! Look away! Do not make eye contact."
Just think it'd be the funniest thing in the world.
Hey, this is so I church leagues are they get after. I'm more familiar with the basketball church leagues. Mm-hmm. But what if you went to play a church team in a softball and it was just priests?
Would call them the Padres.
That's perfect. Thank you, Jimmy. That is classic.
We're playing the Padres. Literally.
You got a collection of young priests that are we're athletes and they're out there they're out there playing and the next thing you know they're talking trash to you. They're going in with their spikes up at second base. They if you brush them back, they're going to give you the stare.
Yep.
They come to the plate and they pull the old Babe Ruth.
They're calling their shot.
Yeah. That would be great. Like what an intimidating thing. You're like, oh, we're playing St. Pius X tonight. And they show up, and it's actually like it's 12 dudes that look like they're athletically gifted, but they're all priests.
Do you wear the collar in softball games?
No.
Only when it's cold.
No, have you not seen like a Catholic priest out? They don't always wear the collar. They like there's sometimes they dress normal, like regular street clothes. You are not required, because I asked when I was young. You're not required to be in uniform, so to speak, the black, all black with the collar all the time. You can have like a normal life.
That's no fun. I think you got to show up with the collar to, I think, drive home the intimidation factor. I mean, wouldn't you be on your best behavior if you're playing priests that actually have the collar on too? I know I wouldn't swear. Tell you that.
It depends on how the Catholic Church has treated you.
Well, that's a fair point. But
if they didn't annul your marriage, maybe you go after somebody.
I like the idea of them playing overly aggressive, going in high spiking.
I feel like there's more to this.
And then you've got the grizzled vet, the one who's like near retirement. He's probably the pitcher, and he's the one that has the really odd stance. But wherever you are playing in the infield, he just poops him over your head. It's not hit really hard, but he just knows where to go. And then you got the young, energetic, new to the cloth priests that have that athletic prowess. I bet they do some damage.
What if they had their own walk-up music? Like they brought a boom box and they roll out a case of beer as well outside the dugout.
They got the big speaker, like the enormous speaker that looks like a cooler.
I'm probably going to have to go to church or get online after this comment. But what if you were playing like the priests in a softball league, and after one of them hits a home run, they pass the bucket in the stands?
Everyone's got a home run celebration now. It's either a fur mink thing or a bucket.
Or it's your offerings.
Yeah. You need to tide because the tide is turning in our favor.
Oh, God. No, are they still putting these games on stream? I know he didn't say they're necessarily playing priests, but
I have no time. No time, man. If my life is watching these yahoos play softball on a Monday night, and I'm actually spending more than 10 minutes, just do it to me now. That's
your problem.
Okay.
Yeah,
when the edible hits, you might
just get rid of me now.
Yeah, that's where you got to evaluate your life a little bit. I would agree. All right, I want to evaluate a question you brought up about Heinrich Harburg. We'll do that. Also get some emails and some tweets before we get out of here. Don't forget, Omaha Baseball Village coverage begins right at 10 o'clock. Josh Peterson, I'll be joining him as soon as I'm out of here. Josh and I in the afternoon as well. And then, of course, you'll have both the elimination game starting at 1 o'clock between Florida and NC State. And then tonight, winners bracket game between Kentucky and Texas A&M. It is John and Gary and Connor on the call all throughout the day as well. We're back with more here on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Hot, humid, and windy conditions on tap for Monday. Expect partly sunny skies throughout the day with south winds gusting 30 to 35 miles per hour. Expect highs around 90 with feels-like temperatures in the mid-90s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
Certified Transmissions built its reputation on the job done right.
It means hard work,
honesty, and integrity.
And together, we ensure our customers leave satisfied and worry-free.
Certified Transmission, the job done right at the right price.
Host is roasting every morning. Host Coffee Services stands as the vibrant heart of every break room, offering the unique fusion of traditional quality and modern flair. We're not just your coffee provider, we're the center of memorable workplace moments. Call us today. Proudly serving Nebraska since 1972. Host Coffee Services is always roasting something good for you.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring,
It's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
Think about it. How prepared are you for the unexpected? Emergencies strike without warning, and we all know something big will be thrown at us soon. Being prepared makes all the difference. This means having a reliable food supply stored to use during tougher times. That's why at My Patriot Supply, we sell thousands of our 4-week emergency food kits every week. Each kit is packed with delicious, easy-to-prepare meals that provide over 2,000 calories per day. These kits are designed to stand by for up to 25 years, ready to use when you need them most. This week, save $50 on every 4-week emergency food kit you need. Simply go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure one for each family member. That's $50 off every 4-week emergency food kit. Order by 3 p.m. and your kit's shipped that same day. It's better to have emergency food than to need it and not have it. Shop mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Every day, the Salvation Army helps those most in need in the Omaha Council Bluffs Metro. When natural disasters strike, when the cupboard is bare, when those recovering from addiction need support, and more, the Salvation Army is there to help. We invite you to connect with us online to learn about our services, volunteer, donate, or get assistance. You'll find links to our Facebook page and Twitter feed and much more information at salarmyomaha.org. The Salvation Army, doing the most good right here in the Metro.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Gary, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the swim trials going on, but I can say my biggest takeaway from the swim trials, it's very depressing because it's not here. That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. I know that it, well, because
threw a slider at you.
I mean, be completely ignored by locals.
Yeah. I think people were finally seeing it away from here. It's like,
yeah, I don't think I'm not censoring the clamoring to bring it back here.
No, especially when it intersected with the CWS, that became an absolute blank show.
Well, I was just thinking because it started Saturday night in Indianapolis. That had been day 2 of the College World Series.
Yep.
I mean, you're exhausted anyhow with the College World Series, and then you have both events going on. But one thing they will not have, we have made it, baby. You know how there are certain things that you promote that you're like, I wonder if this will ever catch on. So we are big fans of the Ferris wheel. Okay.
Yeah.
There is no coincidence that we struggled with the enjoyment of the College World Series when they took our beloved Ferris wheel away about 6 years ago. Okay.
Yep.
There was the moment of the excitement of in the ballpark, but when you add a Ferris wheel to anything, it makes it a bigger event. So the Ferris wheel is back. It is closer to the stadium than it's ever been. It is actually run by the NCAA now instead of Mecca. So it is right there in the Fan Fest, and it is across the street from the stadium right in Lot B. And it's beautiful. It is majestic.
It looks great.
They light it up. It looks great. I'll be on it before the week is over.
Yes.
As the schedule allows. We have made it because... or this is day 4 of the College World Series coverage. In my beloved World Herald that I picked up on the doorstep this morning, at the bottom of the sports page, there is a story about the Ferris wheel. And the headline is, now remember, the reporter does not write the headline.
Yeah.
Attraction isn't distraction in the outfield. So players were asked if it is a distraction that the Ferris wheel is out beyond the right center field stands.
Like the hitters?
Yes, they were asked if it is affecting their ability to see pitches or change their focus.
I guess I never thought of that could be.
We have.
No, I never thought that it could be. That's why I'm saying.
Oh, thank you.
No, I wasn't saying. Yeah, I think it could be. No, I never thought that it could be. So I don't understand the question, but I guess you have to ask it.
Do you?
Well,
Do you have to ask it?
No, but if you're writing a feature on the, you can only do so much on the Ferris wheel. If you're going to do a feature, you got to really dig in.
I think players are not really familiar with what it is. Like that's not really what they're out there looking at. Now, if a player says, "Oh, you know what? The reason I struck out the other day is because the lights were going off on the Ferris wheel," then that might be an issue.
Saw the Tennessee game. That's why he didn't ring him up on the appeal, even though his back was at the Ferris wheel.
Man,
that's why the home plate ump. He could have done it, but there was a damn Ferris wheel in his peripheral.
Hey, I feel for the reporter because I think he's their summer intern. That somebody said, "Hey, the Ferris wheel. How can we tie the Ferris wheel into the game? Can you ask players if they've been distracted by the Ferris wheel?"
Like, yeah, sure.
And that summer intern for the World Herald is like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you want.
And do you think he prefaced the question when he was asking these players, "Hey, I'm just writing a story. I'm supposed to, but that Ferris wheel thing, did that distract you when you were going 2 for 3 with a home run the other night?" We've made it, baby. The Ferris wheel is now it because I saw some national sites on Saturday night or Friday night were tweeting out pictures because it's shown on the ESPN broadcast. I mean,
it looks like a place.
This is a big deal. I expect to see T-shirts being sold at Omaha Baseball Village before the week is over with the College World Series and the Ferris wheel being a prominent part of any College World Series logo.
And if they start referring to it as just the wheel, that's when you know it's a big part of it. When it's just, I know it's not in Lawrence. I know we're not talking about the old wagon wheel, but if they start getting shirts that just has the Ferris wheel and it says "Welcome to Omaha" and the wheel, oh man, because it is. I mean, it's part of the landscape now. Because as we were talking about, it used to be sort of tucked away there on the side of the CHI Health Center, so it was off in the distance. So it looked like maybe that there was a county fair going on nearby the College World Series and looked like it was right on top of it. Now it's like, well, you guys wanted the charm with Rosenblatt. Remember, you said there was no charm. How about we make that Ferris wheel a little bit closer? So then every time you get that shot, you see the Ferris wheel looks like it's just right behind the outfield. Yeah.
I'm wondering what happened to the dunk tank. There's no dunk tank set up next to the Ferris wheel. There is no place where you can throw baseballs and try and knock things down to win a teddy bear.
We need that. We need a pie stand as well. What else can we throw next to that thing? Because I will admit that little part of the Fan Fest area is actually kind of cool. I mean, they got the little bars set up right there too. Yeah. So it is a nice little area what they've done with Lot B over there. But the Ferris wheel creeping up a little bit closer. I think that was intentional sneaky. Everybody talks about the soulless stadium. It has no charm, no soul. Well, how about if we throw a Ferris wheel right behind it?
Or some fountains and a palm tree.
Yeah. You could do all of that. It's just going to be, there's no real good transition to this. But
no, because I also have decided this morning that I need to move.
You're going to move?
Yeah. I think I live in a boring part of Omaha.
We heard the birds earlier. It sounded peaceful.
It's too boring out there these days, huh?
July 4th can't get here soon enough. Those birds leave. I just don't have it in my heart to kill them.
Well, that's good.
Because I'm a lover, not a killer.
Where do you want to move to, by the way?
I need to move to a different part of Omaha. It's come to the realization today that I live either, school is out, so the students are not around as much.
Yeah.
I live in a part of town where there are older people, or they're just as flat out boring people that live here. And I'm kind of taken back because I live in Exarban Village where we have a little nightlife. We have a lot of stuff going on. I like living here. But here's what happened. So I opened up my email this morning and I didn't know I had this app, but I get notifications. Usually I just delete them. I didn't know I had a Nextdoor app.
Oh,
and I've signed up because I get updates in the Nextdoor app. So stupid me decided, you know what? Let's catch up on the neighborhood. I don't know many of my neighbors, but what the hell? So I'm scrolling through here. Where can I get a tomato plant that is ready to flower?
Many people ask.
Then this might become a daily bit. Read what is posted on Gary's Nextdoor app.
I love this.
So then I'm scrolling through and I'm like, okay. The next one is, can someone please inform the individuals flying the plane with the banners and signs to adjust the text contrast for better visibility? It saddens me to see resources being used for banners that are hard to read. I'd love to be able to read the messages as they pass over the city.
Fair question.
Or maybe it's time to strengthen the old prescription on your eyes. I don't know. Or get LASIK.
I need to move to a part of town where on the Nextdoor app, it's a picture of somebody passed out on somebody's lawn going, who wants to claim them?
Yep.
Well, we're out.
See the Nextdoor app, and I imagine, do you think they have a lot of Nextdoor app notifications going on in the downtown area or even north downtown and some of the apartment buildings and lofts that they have out there? Because I bet those would be really good right now.
We could ask Sarah.
Yeah, we should. Because we were on the Nextdoor app quite a few years ago, and all it was bitching and moaning about some of the most petty things in the world. So it kind of was very similar to what you just read off with the airplane situation there. So it became all right, I'm not going to pay attention. But I do like the idea of being able to read this on a daily basis of what is in your Nextdoor app. Because it's usually things like that. It's not necessarily Omaha scanner worthy, but it is usually very, very good.
Apparently
what's going on, then you need more excitement.
Apparently in my neighborhood, carpenter ants are a problem.
Oh. Now that's something.
If you're a local exterminator, there are people in this part of Omaha that are looking for some assistance with carpenter ants.
Do you get a lot of lost dog notifications on that too?
I'm scrolling here. A couple.
Okay, yeah. I seem to, because we have one on our Ring doorbell that we're part of that, the Ring notifications. It's basically like a Nextdoor app. I think the only thing that ever pops up is if anybody's Wi-Fi is out, they want to know if anyone else is experiencing that or if it's just them or a lost dog, and then subsequential found lost dog or claimed lost dog. Mine's kind of boring too. Nothing crazy. But there also hasn't been a lot of nitpicky things. Just people want to know if their Wi-Fi is working or not, and if you know what this dog is. Who's this dog that just wandered into my home? That's pretty much what it is. Maybe I need to go more exciting too. I don't know though. I don't know if I want to be in the place where you pull up from just one day's worth of notifications and you have 85 of them, and you've got some pretty lewd photos of people doing things.
Driving east of Center on 50th Street. Why so many houses for sale?
So now we're not even posting. We're thinking out loud, and we're thinking out loud in a community that you hope will hear you and be able to answer. That's what it is.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't need to move. I need to stay right on with this Nextdoor app.
You gonna go?
Looking for someone to mow my yard. My regular guy, I believe, got arrested. Can someone either get a hold of him or come help me?
Yes, now that's what we're talking about. All right. Now we need to follow up on what happened to said lawnmower. Yes. Yeah, those are the kind of notifications.
Did we hire him?
That are good. I like that.
There's a lot of issues with internet I see in my neighborhood.
Yeah, that's the one I get a lot too. I always wanted to know if anybody else is having an outage or if it's just their home. And that one makes sense to me. I would do that. I don't post on those things. I've never posted, but if there was one thing that I would post on, if maybe I lost power or Wi-Fi went down, I'd want to know if that's just my house or if we got something going on that will be remedied shortly.
Gremlins or something.
Yeah.
It's if here I'm noticing a lot of things. This is like the second time I've ever looked at this.
This is terrific.
Is internet going out, and what is that loud noise I heard?
Yeah.
That would be music.
You will get the loud noise thing.
Also, JM is in search of a pre-owned blue car for my 17-year-old granddaughter. My budget is under $300. Any leads would be greatly appreciated. I've got a bike you can borrow.
Under $300? What do you think you're going to get?
Yeah, you must hate your granddaughter.
Oh, kidding. Is that $300 a month or total?
It says my budget is under $300. Maybe they forgot a zero.
Oh my goodness.
Now I'm in a whole, oh no, wait a minute. I was gonna say now I'm in a whole new world because I could click on the comments, but that means you have to log in.
Oh
yeah, the comments are usually pretty good.
It's like LinkedIn.
That is not a chance I'm giving out that information.
I noticed on the comments for the Ring one, you get, for the most part, out of, let's say, 10 comments, 7 of them are at least attempting to help the poster.
70%.
And 3 of them are trying to be the biggest smartass or just a jerk to the person for posting. I think there are some people who like to comment because that's their thing. They just want to comment and be mean.
So what are we looking at the age of the high volume Nextdoor app user? 60 plus?
Yeah. It's definitely, it's the ones that would typically call 911 when there's a lot of fireworks going off. Jim says Nextdoor is Facebook on steroids. Karen's to the left of me, Karen's to the right. Yeah, it's a lot of that.
Stuck
and
in the middle with you.
There's Karens and some Kevins for sure. It's typically the ones that are going to complain about fireworks going off at 7:00 on the 3rd of the 4th, before the 4th. So that's essentially
Just
what it
wait
is.
till July 5th.
I don't think. I mean, I'm sure young people understand that it's available to them, but I don't think they ever really post.
No, the kids are doing it.
Yeah, the youngs aren't doing it.
We'll ask when the part timers come in here in a little bit.
I want to know when Gary's first post is going to be.
Never.
You're not going to do anything. Even remember when you had the electrical situation and you couldn't like get from one place to the other. That would have been like worthy of a post.
Or just make up stuff. Just
anybody else locked into their apartment or anybody else locked into their complex, asking for a friend.
I can't believe I opened this and reading some of this nonsense.
I love that you opened this. Anything else good?
Hey, if you guys get a delay today, this is what you and John can do.
I like
Read
that.
the Nextdoor.
I think the CWS fans would love to know.
It's time for Nextdoor on the west.
For anybody that's traveling on 72nd and it looks like Grover, there's a dead cat.
Was that today?
Rest in peace, cat.
Is this recent or was this posted on Thursday?
18 hours ago.
Oh, so yesterday.
It was a weekend, so the cat still might be there.
Yeah, could be alive.
This is two A&M fans ran it over.
Jim is right. This is Facebook on steroids.
It is. Yeah.
Without the poking.
Jimmy, I don't think you can poke anymore.
You can't poke anymore?
I think poking's been canceled.
I have a tree growing in my garden. Any recommendations on how to get rid of it?
Bottle rockets, gasoline.
What has happened to us?
Matches.
Is this a recent development that all of a sudden you have a tree growing in your garden?
Is Harvey Updike still alive?
You did this to yourself, Gary. You did this to yourself. All you had to do is ask me about, hey, what's going on in Nextdoor app? Should I check it out? I'd been the first to tell you, no, don't do it.
I made the mistake. I clicked on something and
now
I can't get off, and probably I will be the person that's a smart ass responding to people.
Yes.
Instead of helping, I will respond being snarky, and then we'll see what that leads to.
Yep.
So if he doesn't show up at the Chuck today, Nick, be ready to do color. Yeah. It's either you or Grim.
Do it anonymously though, too, which is even better. But
where's Gary on Nextdoor?
Well, now you've created a daily bit, whether you like it or not. We're going to go to, all right, now it's what's on Gary's Nextdoor app.
I can get Cutler to voice this and have it back to us by tomorrow.
Yep, I think you should. All right, we got to step aside. We're going to take a break, wrap things up, get ready for the Omaha Baseball Village coverage of day number 4, the College World Series.
They're connected and they're listening. Good morning.
That's right. Okay. All right. Josh Peterson, and then he will be joined by myself as soon as I can get to the stadium. And we will wrap things up next. 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley.
Tax season is here already. Look at all this info I have to enter.
Phil's small accounting firm is growing in numbers.
Why didn't I take that typing class in high school?
A data entry specialist could really help him in a crunch.
I got blisters on my fingers.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
News Talk 1290 Coil is your radio home for Omaha Storm Chasers baseball, proud AAA affiliate of the Kansas City Royals. Tune in to hear every pitch, every hit, and every out as the Chasers play at Warner Park and across the International League in 2024. With the voice of the Omaha Storm Chasers, Nick Batters, on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tune in to 1290 Coil all season long for your Omaha Storm Chasers baseball as they take on the International League. It's Storm Chasers baseball on 1290 Coil.
We're going abroad for the first time in years, to Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks. Babbel's conversational method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aw, he just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Nos vamos a divertir mucho.
And that means we're going to have a lot of fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of time. Digital age dawn, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers, and that radon levels in our region are some of the highest in the country? Do you know your radon level? Protect your family by contacting the experts at Radon Defense Midwest. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer to 1620 The Zone listeners. Get 50% off a professional radon test. radonradio.com. What's your level?
Every day, the Salvation Army helps those most in need in the Omaha Council Bluffs metro. When natural disasters strike, when the cupboard is bare, when those recovering from addiction need support, and more, the Salvation Army is there to help. We invite you to connect with us online to learn about our services, volunteer, donate, or get assistance. You'll find links to our Facebook page and Twitter feed and much more information at salarmyomaha.org. The Salvation Army, doing the most good right here in the metro.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, real quick, we've got about a minute left. Gary, I'm going to go to my Ring app. Here's the community, a lot of lost dogs and cats, but this one is a banger, man. We got a SWAT team. Does anybody know what is going on the curve of 144th Avenue? Just saw the SWAT team pull up, as well as the police and ambulances. Take that. That's the post of the day right there.
Well, I mean, there's some good, and then there's people just posting to be posting.
That's true. I mean, I'd be curious if I saw a SWAT team pull up in my neighborhood. Maybe I would post and want to know more information. I think that's worthy of a post.
Is that where you go? Your first thing to ask the question is the Ring doorbell app.
Yeah.
The community that community that is on there.
Yeah, because everybody's watching, Gary. They're watching just for you.
Thank you. Enjoy your day at Baseball Village, and we'll get together tomorrow at 6.
Sounds wonderful. We're going to the Omaha Baseball Village. Josh Peterson, Josh Hodson, myself will be out there. And, of course, we've got College World Series action elimination game at 1 o'clock between NC State and Florida. Then tonight, winners bracket game, Kentucky, Texas A&M. John and Gary and Connor all on that for you. For Jimmy, Gary, myself, you've been listening to Mornings with Sharp and Handley, 1620 The Zone. Have a great Monday.